Okay, let's get started then. Could someone give me a brief summary with inspiration?
Well, I have something very, very important to say at the start of our recordings.
What
How
is
is
that?
everyone?
Squint.
That's on mute.
Yeah, I know.
But anyways,
Do I have inspiration? I already have inspiration. Someone else do it.
I'm giving everybody a chance because everyone knows I
Okay.
record and watch this.
But the basics from what I remember is we finally got out from the bandit's lair and made our way to civilization. And as we made it there, someone reached out for us for a job. To hire us, to give us something to do as coin. Because we were in need of it. That ended up being a rather interesting magical shop that worked with soaps and tonics and other little items. Which they weren't quite sure what they really did. Some of us got a free sample of them to test out and give feedback, while others got just the bare, basic soaps that hadn't been magicked up yet, much to their relief. This individual had ties to our dear guard, though the real person that had ties to the guard was her brother that showed up. Had a whole arc with discussing, talking, and finding out that they were effectively nobility, and they didn't agree with quite a few things, how their family were going. It sounded as if the brother felt that she had abandoned the family and weren't doing her dues, while also being much stricter. Moving on from that, I think we had an agreement and accord on the job they wanted us to help with, and I'm not sure we did anything further than that. Don't think we started the actual adventure yet.
We did not, as I decided to continue playing my lute. You decided to make sure that I didn't get stabbed in the night because I kept continuing to play my lute. Anela went clothes shopping. Beal went with Anela. Barnaby went to bed because he was sick of everybody's shit.
That's very true. I also remember they got a special service for those dresses from our new hiree, who I can't remember the name of, but I do remember that she loves creating chaotic brews.
Yes, we got a recommendation from her. Should I fill in some of the more interpersonal details that happened?
Sure.
Well, Beal found out she's adopted.
Yep.
And,
Here's another interpersonal. I Sulfur helped someone bathe.
that did happen. That was very, intimate.
I kept my
Indeed.
pants on, leave me alone.
Also, do you know what's so funny about you? Like, oh, I'm bathing, covered in blood. Beal has prestidigitation.
You fucker.
Why do you think she's been so clean?
Meredith not knowing this has been complaining the entire time, Beal laughing.
You know, I'm pretty sure there's multiple people with that in the party as well. I just
Mhm.
haven't used it.
Oh god, I hope not. Feared is just ignored by the entire party.
I mean, Beal is just sitting there waiting for you to ask. He doesn't know if you want it or not.
I mean, to be fair, he doesn't know you have it.
To be fair, she's a kobold.
Fair.
Oh my god. But Beal and Viridis showed a little bit how one brain cell they are, as doing a little bit of a tricky thing. Viridis gave Beal a bardic inspiration to help spy a little bit on Sally, and that was you know, found out her brother is just the absolute best of people. Cannot tell that was sarcasm.
I got the impression he was more a noble that stuck to noble obligations that was strict on that front. And felt the
noble.
sister had failed on that front, from what my impression was at least.
A noble that isn't a noble trying to... On one hand, I understand the sheer desperateness of the city must survive. I've played Frostpunk. It's a great game. But also, whenever you beat that game, you get the message, but did we go too far? That's where this guy is going down. You know, public executions, exile, the city must survive.
Forget them kids.
Forget them kids, just throw them in the coal mine. It's literally what they're doing, but it's adamantine. And, anything else?
No, I'm proud. I'm proud of you two.
Thank you, thank you.
Video.
I didn't.
Start watching the video. You'll remember more.
Alright,
But,
so
given that 3 people talked what you don't do.
Anyways, go ahead, Chris.
yeah, so both of you get an inspiration point. And I don't know how you found out that I was basing this on Frostpunk. My favorite game. Anyway,
Oh, it's fantastic.
indeed. Alright, and without further ado, we will then go on to the next noon where you are supposed to meet next dawn where you're supposed to meet your employers at the West Gate. Can we start?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Who gets the inspiration?
I do believe it was me and Zulfra, considering that you already have it.
Yep.
Oh, got it.
Okay, give me a second.
Oi, wake up. Just kicking the tiefling that's sharing the room with. Time to gather everyone. We need to head out and...
Yeah, goes to kick the tiefling. The tiefling's tail wraps around your leg. That's rude. And just sits up.
It's appropriate.
Says you. Alright, I'll go knocking. Do you want to go wake up your sister?
I guess I can do that. I'll give her the same treatment. And he just walks off forgetting you wrap your tail around and tucking you off the bed for
Fuck.
like, oh, sorry,
Fuck,
forgot you.
Ow, shit. That's attached
Well, if
to
you're not
the
gonna let
spine.
go, he's just gonna keep walking, dragging you if you don't let go.
He lets go. Almost instantly. That's attached to his spine. Alright, fine, I'll go wake
Might
up
need to-
Barnaby.
Pretty sure. When does he sleep? He's an owl. Shouldn't he be awake during the
Go
night?
outside, look up, and tell me when the sun is out. We'll be here for months.
Well, I can tell you that. I see the disguise from my faith, but never mind. I'll go get my sister, and likely the little one as well. And then we can all wake up Sally together.
Pretty sure Sally's in there with them.
I'm not entirely too sure on that, especially with her encounter with her kin. She did not seem to be in the best of moods.
Well, fair. Just go knock on the door. Barnaby, Jason, let me in.
Dalton
Jason,
just
oh,
kicks
not.
the door.
I'm not Jason. Barnaby does not answer the door.
Let me in.
Audible locking sounds.
You know that won't stop me if I actually want in, right?
Wait,
Oh.
is Jason unlocking the door?
No, he locked it.
Oh,
Even more.
Yeah, this.
It's like scraping sounds as they move the cabinet or like the cupboard or the dresser in front of the door.
It's the only way they'd be able to keep me out. There once was a man who went to sea.
Remember to switch your character token.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's actually nice to make.
Just start. I'm gonna switch this to small. Oh.
But no, Jason will eventually unlock it. Just kind of.
Oh, not a fan of the Wellerman then, Alright.
And while that's happening, I'm heading over to the ladies' room.
Looks like your sister said that she's gotta go get some water. She'll be right back.
I did not notice that post.
Just.
what?
Sorry.
Well, I was just saying, in that instance, then while we wait for Anella to return, if you open the door to see Jason, Barnaby's not there. There's not even a pile of stuff. Barnaby's gone.
Okay, where's the owl?
Shrugs.
Oh, fuck. Okay. I look up. The first thing that you always do in a horror movie is you need to remember to look up. I look up.
Not there. He's not there.
Damn. Alright, well, this is unusual.
And as he's coming up from downstairs, he decided to get up early to get his shopping out of the way. Where he sold his leather armor, got studded leather, got another quiver of arrows. Oh, you're all up. Good. Woohoo.
Okay.
There it is.
Good to see you. That's your... I guess you went out to get more arrows?
Yes, and better armor.
Okay, good. Yes, no, it's great, great initiative. Oh, no. I don't want the hiccups. No, you can't do this to me. He sits down.
Well, I had this perfect remedy where I just punch you really hard in the stomach.
You know what, I'll take that. It's preferable to hiccups. Go.
I guess I'll just make it strength. Yeah, no.
Verdus
That's
starts laughing.
Well, I tried.
I think you fixed it, just not the way I expected.
Good. Well, I'm gonna go downstairs and rest up while the girls wake up, I guess.
Right. Jason, would you like to join us for something to eat? I'm doing the wrong character voice. Oops. Jason, would you like to come down there and eat with us? I could always get you something. Well, better than gruel or a ration? You've got to be sick of good berries by now.
Gives a thumbs up and will follow as.
Yeah, well then Viridis is just gonna follow Barnaby because it's breakfast time.
The only thing that's currently available is the Perpetua stew. You know what that is, right?
Good old questionable meat stew.
Yeah, and you're expected to add something to it when you take a bout of it. What do you add?
Start digging through my rations. Let's see here. Hmm. Probably some kind of dried meat. In this area, probably dried venison.
Ah,
Barnaby's
Alright.
gonna add some salted pork to his.
you guys get some friendly looks from the other people waiting for the stew because most of them have potatoes, vegetables, like roots. You know, anyone that adds meat is very much appreciated.
Why did they get to the stew? Are we awake yet?
I'm just waiting for Nilla to get back so we can. Nameless, are you back?
I am back, yes.
Alright.
So I'll head over to the door and give a resounding kick instead of a knock on the door. It's time to wake up.
You wake
Got
up.
to march.
No. I'm cozy.
Sister, if the little one is unwilling to get up, just pick them up with the blanket.
Yes, I figure I shall start scooping up as many blankets and clothes as I can. We'll meet you out there. We need just a couple more minutes, but we'll meet you downstairs.
Please don't try any of that makeup stuff. It takes way too long. At least use proper face paint.
Why don't you use proper face paint?
I do. He'll say as
Okay,
you
good.
hear him moving off.
Then why does it look bad? Anyways, I think he's gone.
All right. All right. Are you ready for the day?
Oh yeah, I've been ready.
Oh, wonderful. Me too. As Neela will spring forward and be like, "All right, I'm ready for this. Do you want any of these blankets? Any of these pillows?"
She shrugs and then opens up the bag holding.
That's what I was gonna do.
Yeah, that is exactly what Sulfur was suggesting. Just grab anything.
I kind of like this pillow. It's quite cozy. If you don't mind slipping it in the bag, dear. As I'll slide a pillow over to you.
He just stuffs it in the bag. We're literally taking the bed sheets at the hotel.
You're literally a kobold thief.
Yes.
It's not like they can charge you a credit card for it.
Yeah.
Fuck that, take the table.
It's also there's no evidence of it either because you got no luggage.
Is there
Not
like
really.
is there a nightstand? Like a little side table or anything? Is this to Chris or the DM? Or dead? Which I guess is Chris. She's currently DM.
I'm sorry?
Is it like a little nightstand or like side table or something like that?
Yes, right by the bedside.
Hey, Anila,
Yeah.
can you pick up that end table? She opens up the bag of holding.
You want to take the whole table?
Yeah, it's firewood.
But not bad idea. As I put it in the bag holding, and then be like, we can't just leave the entire place. I'm sure they're going to get mad and.
I'm just taking the one.
Yes. Have their.
There's other taverns in town.
All right, Beal, is this what you do? Is this what we do when we get into trouble, us girls? All right. Well, if you're putting things in, All right.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, but okay, they probably don't appreciate looting.
I mean, they're not going to be able to prove that we did it.
Except they know what rooms you were in.
Yeah, but they're going to see us walk out with none of the stuff they think that we're stealing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, any luggage we have is light luggage. We don't have anything to stuff all literal tables in.
Yeah, like they literally will be like, I mean, if somebody was to come into my house and leave with just a backpack and my desk was gone, I'm not gonna say you stole my desk. I'm just saying, like the bag of holding is the ultimate thief's tool because literally nobody can fucking find out that you stole stuff.
Literally just taking the fucking end table.
All right, so downstairs, some of the party are eating perpetual stew, flavored up by the addition of meat. Upstairs, a bunch of people are stealing furniture in the name of procuring firewood.
And Sulfur is just
Ugh.
walking down in between the both of them.
God, yeah, oh boy.
Welcome to D&D.
As Anila's saying sorry to Sally, she's covering her eyes, just saying, "See no evil, hear no evil. You'll be fine, Sally." Oh boy. But yeah, I'll head downstairs eventually and meet up with the group so we can get out of here.
Look, I feel a little chaotic this morning. It's fine.
All right, so eventually you finish your looting and all meet down for a bowl of hot soup before you depart. It is about, if you leave in about 5-10 minutes, you're going to be there right on time. Do you want to leave now or like stick around a bit longer?
I make Beal eat before we leave, but just he's ready to go whenever.
Why do you...
Here,
Stop.
food, eat.
I'm not a child. I know when I'm hungry and I'm gonna eat. This looks warm. Jeez. The butt.
Why do I
She uses prestidigitation to make a... just... the sound of a butt in front of you.
just a fart sound directly in front of my face?
Yes,
Just blinks.
with a small puff.
Some people who are eating like in the table beside you move a little out of the way.
Yeah, I just sit there and sigh.
Alright, shoot, no magic.
All right, so you finish eating and head to the site, the west gate.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. During the night, like a fresh bed of snow has covered the city, and it is still early enough that not many people have traversed across it. So you leave little kobold footprints and human footprints in the sand as you go about your way.
There's a human in this party? Alright, Sally.
Yeah. I just have my tail in the snow behind me, whipping my footprint, so it looks like a snake's been here. Chaos.
Who looks dirty in this party?
Everybody
You know
but
what?
me.
I'm going to hold off on this until we get out of town.
Smart.
Alright. So, you guys make strange marks in the snow, and you guys reach West Gate and pass through it with not much trouble. You realize that mostly guards stop those going in, but do not pay as much attention to those going out. Perhaps for security reasons. This is the capital after all. And a little bit in the distance, not far, you see 4 dog sleds. 2 of them piled high with wooden crates. You assume that that is your destination.
Well, it looks like we found the right place. Let's see if who we're looking for is actually here. And Sulph will start heading over.
Why is
All
it
right.
so windy here? What is going on with my computer? Oh, that's what's happening.
I thought you were talking in character for a moment there. I was like, so confused.
Well, it was. I heard winds, and the answer was Frostpunk opened when I didn't want it to.
You're just talking about it. Sounds like you've been playing it recently too.
I suppose that is exactly where we need to go. So, yeah, I'll just follow Zulfra, because why not?
Okay. So when you approach closer, you see 3 men and a mountain dwarf securing crates with rope and harnessing the huskies. But the person that actually hired you, Hakim, is nowhere to be seen. At least for now. What do you do?
I'm sorry, is this the one-way trip to, Truehammer Freehold?
And as you approach closer and address the crew that's loading up the sled, the dwarf that's been also helping loading the sled, robs the snow out of his hands and comes down and addresses you all. Ah, you're here at last. We've been waiting for you.
It looks like you're still getting loaded.
Yeah, you're not ready to go yet.
And as you
But
say
where's
that,
your leader?
the dwarf is about to reply to that, but he doesn't get like 3 words in because Sally actually comes up from the back and hugs the dwarf, squealing, "Uncle Brock!" And this is the happiest that you guys have seen Sally in some time. And then the dwarf like stops, about to like finish his sentence, gives up, turns back, pats Sally on the head, and says, "Moradin's hammer, you've grown, Sally. Welcome back." And then Sally introduces you all. Everyone, this is Uncle Brock. He's the best dwarf in the whole world, and the best cleric, also the vice director, but that's not as important. I didn't know he was coming along for this. Usually he stays at the settlement when my brother's out, just so that we are always prepped when there's danger, like, to the settlement, but apparently not in this case. And then she stops, and the dwarf nods at you and answers Zolfa's question first. He says, the director is picking up a passenger. Just about time he's back. You get the first 2 sleds, the one that's already loaded, so divvy up. And whoever's the driver, get yourself acquainted with the dogs. Good as a boys, if I say so myself.
Beal has already gone over to play with the dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so is Anila.
Yeah, I just look over at Zulfra, look at my child, look at Zulfra's sister, and look back at Zulfra, and just look at Sally, and then back to Zulfra and go, "You hear that? He's the bestest cleric. You've already been replaced." Just elbowing fucking Zulfra.
His faith has no meaning to me. Just a small shrug.
Ah, you're no fun.
That sounds like copium.
I'm
Yeah.
not.
So,
Oops,
oh, sorry, go on.
just No, I'm good. I've immediately forgot what I was gonna say. Never mind.
All right.
I
So,
ruined his train of thought.
all right, Bill and Anila went to play with the dogs. Barnaby, Zolfra, and Veritas is talking to the dwarf.
Think so.
Is that what you're doing, Barnaby? Or are you also gonna play with the Alaskan wolfhounds?
Well, I think I might want to go play with the doggies. I might as well. And he just hoots his way over to
All
the
right.
dogs.
So, three of you are getting acquainted with the dogs. Zolfra and Veritas is left. And the dwarf says to you, "Any friends of Sally are friends of mine. Couldn't believe my ears when I heard the news last night, I did. Little Sally back, alive and well, and with good friends like you, too. Made me tear up, it did."
Friends, right. Good to know you're in good spirits, but what is the actual plan for our mission?
Well, looks like, to be honest with you, it looks like we're gonna go talk to a bunch of fungus people and try to barter back some children and apparently access to ore.
I know we've gone over that, but I'm just seeing if he's got anything different to say. He's a different perspective to speak to.
That's a wonderful point. My good compatriot here, the smart man that he is, do you have any additional information on the situation in town?
He pauses for a moment thinking. He says, if you would give me a moment. And then he goes and talks to some of the miners, the ones like loading the crates. And then presumably to ask for a little time. And then he comes back. And then he says, "So, I have a little time. I think Hakim's going to come back in about 10 minutes. What exactly do you want to know?"
Okay.
As much as you can tell us on the situation and what you're actually hoping we can achieve with this.
All
We're
right.
comparing
So
to what we already know.
I am not quite sure how comprehensive Hakim was in explaining the situation. I can tell you either of those two things. My knowledge of the Myconids and our alliance with them, or like my opinion on this mission and the current situation we're in. Which one do you want to hear?
Both. Both is good.
I tell you my opinion first. And he actually glances back over at the workers, lowers his voice a little bit, and then he says, Everyone thinks that this mission is doomed to failure. Almost. In fact, it was I that insisted on a peaceful solution first. Most of them were more inclined to start a war where we had the element of surprise and there was still time. And as much as I am friendly with the Myconids and I hesitate to go to war with them, if you fail, then war it must be. As said, if you go to the settlement, you will find the settlement that's mobilizing for a war. That's why that's part of the reason we four of us are here. We were getting supplies for potions, weapons, gears, equipment. You're literally our last-ditch effort. But even I, and then he hesitates, even I don't really have much hopes of it. After all, we do need that ore by the month's end. There can be no compromise.
Ultimatum after ultimatum. Is it
I
always so
am.
depressing around here?
Certainly seems like it doesn't seem that different to normal, though.
It's because you're also depressing. Look. I'm going to do my best to go in there, walk out with these kids, and get that order. And the Myconids cheering on our way out.
I'm expecting them to be screaming, but we'll see how this goes.
He smiles a little and he says, "Your confidence does my heart good." But you're not sure he actually means it or not.
Well, there's an easy way for me to fix that. I'm rolling an insight.
Yep.
Okay. Please roll insight.
16.
16. He's not really a thrifty guy. You're like, he's going to give you about like 10, 15% chance, but again, he doesn't really think this is gonna work. You get the feeling that you're not, like, they've already tried almost any other like attempt and they've all failed. So, and you're a bunch of strangers, warriors. You guys don't really look like diplomats in his opinion.
Laughs.
Yeah, none of us do. The only one that could is Sally, and that's the younger, like, daughter, niece.
I'm so insulted. None of you looks like diplomats. Me, the bard.
Look at your
Yeah.
image for a moment, mate. How does
Okay,
that
yeah,
look
no,
like?
no, fair point. Fair point. Right.
Think about to charge at someone to skewer with them with your horns over talk to them.
Also fair. Oh, well, yeah. Good old demon folk. Right.
Well, we'll see how this goes. Have we got any estimation on their forces, their strengths? Have you done any surveys of the land?
He nods. He says, "I do. I was one of the members of the Trailblazing crew 15 years ago when we first met the Myconids and made an alliance with them. This was back when little Sally's father was the director, quite a while ago. I mean, it's, now that we think back on it, it's a wonder they didn't kill us all. We were lost and desperate, half our crew dead by the point, exhausted of spell and strength. And they had a fungal treant and a mushroom woad. Have you ever run into those creatures?"
I can't say I have any recollection running across.
Well, do I need to roll for how much I know? Because I know a lot, but...
Yep, please roll.
Alright. 16. Right, pretty good.
Okay, you know the normal kind of treant and the normal kind of udod, but you've never heard of something called the fungal treant and the mushroom woad.
But I am familiar about, like, Myconids
Yeah.
in general.
Yep.
Huh. Maybe they infected a treant? I mean, they are a fungus. If they can infect anything, that's how they spread. Like,
They're
how
a parasite, yes.
Well,
If that's how they function.
they are parasitic in nature, yes, but they don't actively seek it out.
These things have a conscious mind. They could very well consciously be seeking it out.
They could, but it's not usually how they operate. You'd have to
At the
really
moment,
piss
they've
off.
kidnapped children, and for all we know, they've infected them with their spores.
You want to make a bet against that?
Not really. I'm expecting this to go into a battle, but we have people here with various different mindsets. So this could go in many different directions. It'll be a fool's errand to bet. on this group's decisions and actions.
You're way too wise for your own damn good, you know that?
It comes with my faith and my beliefs.
Boring. I'm gonna go
I
talk to
know.
you. I'm gonna go talk to your sister and play with the dogs and Beale. And he just walks off.
It is a small way before he turns back to the dwarf. Now, you didn't actually give me a full recollection of their actual forces, just that you've seen their tree in a large number. So anything recent, 5 years is much too long to give an estimation. Useful.
I've been there lots of times since then. Last time was less than 8 weeks ago. I've seen both the fungal treant and the mushroomwood in action in battle, though not against us, of course. The Myconid themselves, they have what they call circles, which is about a dozen, 2 dozen Myconids collecting into a group. I do believe that there are 3 circles in that colony. There would be about 6 dozen of Myconids. It is one of the bigger colonies that I have heard of.
Quite a large group. You've seen their strength. Do you believe our numbers combined with our group would be enough to counter them? Or would you suggest more a subtle insertion route? Sneak in, grab what we need, and the game goes foul.
If we can do this through stealth, it would be amazing, but it is hard to escape the eyes of the Myconids when in the heart of their colony, and harder still to escape the treant. They can sense you, even in total darkness. I do not have much hopes of it, and in my opinion, it is not a matter of whether we can do it or not, but that we must. He sighs and he says, it is my opinion as one of the battle leaders that we can and will prove victorious, but at significant cost in life.
Sounds to me like devising strategy if you see so much loss in your hunt. Perhaps drawing them away from the children while the main forces go in. We'll have to see what happens with the attempt of diplomacy first.
You sound like you're versed in battle strategy. Is this not your first time engaging in small-scale war?
I've had smaller engagements, but I had to learn strategy with my kin. Even though it's much simpler. I can't say I'm as well versed as you by the sounds of it. And your age. But caution is always advised in large engagements like
Of course, lives must come first of all. When the time comes and this turns into battle, talk to me a little more and I will let you know about the specific strengths and weaknesses I found of their colony and their defenders. Oh, and do be reminded, neither the treant nor the mushroomwood can leave the borders of the colony. I am not quite sure why yet. I have never asked, but when the battle starts, that may be something that, may be beneficial for you to know.
So what I'm hearing, it'll be good to keep moving. As their movement is limited, one weakness you can take advantage of.
Yes, that's the reason why they made an alliance with us in the first place. They needed people that could fight for them outside of their borders since their defenders would not leave their home.
Perhaps they only made that agreement to gather more forces in time and bread. But it's difficult to say.
It is difficult to say.
Is there any major weaknesses or strengths to notice? You so on telling us later, but knowing now would probably be more to our advantage.
I've seen that the fungal treant can hit like a ram multiple times, fast and hard. He can call upon other mushrooms, awaken them in the area. You did suggest that they were perhaps infections, but my sense of them from being around them long enough was that they are a variant and not necessarily an infected corpse. But that is just my understanding, not necessarily true. The mushroom roots, the most pesky thing about them is that they teleport, making them a pest for to get a hold of, especially for melee warriors. And their great clubs also strike hard and true. The mushroom bloodroot might be a great, more pesky enemy for you than the tree ant, which is much, much slower. If battle ever occurs, then I would advise you to leave the treant to us, to Hakim, me, some of my crew. I do not mean to be discouraging of your abilities, but I think you might be more suited towards less lethal encounters.
Noted. It's all part of the hunt, knowing your strengths and your own weaknesses.
Indeed.
But it noted that the tree and can't move far. So distant combat against this entity is likely the best strength anyway. The smaller ones, moving fast and quick, would be more difficult, but again, range seems to be the strength in this combat from what you've described. Keep our range, we can thin their numbers before the real engagement begins.
That would normally be a great idea, though the terrains of the Underdark are treacherous. Best to look around well while you're at it, see which locations are safe to step on and which locations are not. I trust that your crew's expertise would aid us in this matter.
True, we are going to the Underdark, we're not going to be in service like I'm used to. Less space, more cramped conditions. That is something to consider. I'll pass this information to the rest of the group so they can also plan as well. If you can think of anything else that we need to know of, let us know.
No, but do ask me more questions if you ever think of anything. I would, of course, do my best to assist.
Noted. I have nothing else to ask from the mill.
Very well. And that is it for the discussion between Zolfra and the dwarf. The people, all right, the Veritas, did you wander off to meet the dogs with the rest of the crew?
I did, but I'm not actually going to do much with it. I'm mostly just going over there to see how Beal and Anella and I guess Barnaby are doing. I feel it's best to check the morale of everyone, not just the individuals we're working for.
All right. If you go around to where the three of them are, I guess they're still making acquaintance with the dogs. You see them like white furred, gray streaks a little bit, especially in the ears and between the eyes. You get the feeling that they are sort of a husky breed, but not quite. A local dog breed in the region.
So.
Yeah.
So kind of like the wolfhounds.
Yes. They, now that you speak of it, they do look uneasily close to winter wolves.
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? You're a good boy.
One of them actually flips over and asks you to scratch its belly, which shows it is a behavior that is not very winter wolf-like.
Beal immediately just goes in for the scritches.
All right. Another dog tries to lick Barnaby in the face.
Barnaby lets it happen and is hooting in delight.
All right. Do you? None of you can talk to animals, right?
Well, I mean, looks the druid.
Actually, yeah. I'm gonna cast Speak with Animals.
We have 2 druids?
No.
We have
No.
a ranger.
Yeah, a ranger and a druid, both of them have druid spells.
Ah, okay.
All right. Do you try and talk to them?
Yeah, but it's like, oh, well, I bet you're all very excited. You seem so.
Bark, bark, stranger. Excited we are. You smell of fresh blood and gut. Of- Is there food waiting for us? Is there a good hunt waiting for us?
Hmm. Oh, I would love a good hunt, but I would have to speak to the others. I mean, we're guests on this little trip. Let me ask around real quick, okay? And he just gives a little scritch behind the ears and is gonna look to one of the workers and it's like, is there going to be a hunt or anything soon?
The miner doffs his cap at you, and then he says, I do believe that we're going to hunt a little on our journey to the back to the settlement. We don't have enough supplies to make the full trip, but it's not gonna be too much of a hassle. If you do not wish to hunt, you can leave it up to us.
Oh no, I will join in the hunt. And then he turns back and speaks to the dogs. He's like, well, this seems we will have to be hunting a bit on the trip back. So it may not happen right away, but it's going to happen, and I will join you happily on the hunt.
Okay, the dogs, all tails, all start wagging really hard like a blur. And then one of the dogs says, bark, bark. From now on, you are not a stranger. I call you not stranger.
Barnaby just claps his hands together. That is most delightful. Ooh, you're all such good boys and girls. And he starts trying to scratch all of them behind the ears.
All right, so you are immediately covered by a flood of dogs, are really excited that they will be hunting soon. The only one that doesn't come to you is the youngest of the dogs. This is half grown, you think, not full wolf size, and it's actually hanging onto Anila's pet leg. And then you're the only one that can understand dog speech right now, so it's saying, I'm trying to practice how to hunt. I want to hunt big prey like this one. Yip, yip. So it looks really cute because it doesn't actually bite Anila. It's just holding onto the pet leg.
Barnaby looks over to Anila and just smiles wide. And it's like, oh, Anila. That one. Such a cute little youngster.
Anila will kind of laugh and chuckle and take notice of this little one. I'm trying to think. I wish there was something I could give to this dog. Or not dog, but dog/wolf thing. I guess I'll give it a little ration. I'm not gonna give it the filter of jalapeno extract. That would be too much.
Gib, I want.
Yes, I'm just gonna give this dog the health.
Let's give
So
this.
mean.
Yeah, let's give this dog the ability to breathe fire because spicy.
Exactly. No, so I'll drop some rations down and let the hound eat at it.
All right. The baby hound actually howls a howl of victory and says, see my great victory that I have gotten loot. all bow before me, the great Ufound, the alpha of the future, and then, runs away with the piece of meat because he's afraid other people are gonna steal it. Tried to hide behind the little rock and gnaw at it.
Oh, Anila, you're so good with the little ones.
Yes. I was happy that it worked out so well. I can't wait to see what kind of character this wolf grows into.
Yeah, you're right there, Barnaby. She'd make an excellent mother. He says with his hand on his chin, just looking at her for a minute.
No, get it out of your head. I left the tribe that was trying to do that. I am here experiencing, we'll call it my Rumspringa.
Oh, just kind of sighs and shakes his head. Can't blame a guy for trying.
Have you considered adoption?
I bought Beal. It's like, Beal, I love you, but I don't need a wingman.
Beal
All
is
right.
lost in a sea of fluff.
Okay, as this is going on, you from the other side, you see Hakim come back, and he is indeed with the woman. This is she's a middle-aged woman, as you see in the photo, pale-haired, rosy-cheeked. She looks pretty unassuming. She could have been anyone's aunt or grandma. Yep. And Hakim nods at you and then talks to Brock and says, "Oh, we should set off." And now it's time for you guys to divvy up between the dog sled.
I mean, Barnaby can straight up talk to them, so why not have him
Can
drive?
Beal ride one of the dogs?
Just on the pup.
Yep.
All right. This is the composition. So you guys choose which slot you guys go into.
Sorry, hold on. Well, I mean, I have no intention on piloting one of these things, so I'll take either of the 2 or 3 slots. But I cannot drive. Nor can I speak to animals. Nor do animals typically like me, so I'll see.
Barnaby and Anila should probably drive.
Probably.
Yeah, if Barnaby's speak with animals speech is still on, you see one of the dogs pipe up. You smell strange, that's why we don't like you. And that you realize they didn't approach you at all. They only approached the 3 other people.
Perhaps Veritas says, yes, you best take a passenger seat. Oh yes,
The dogs are based.
yeah, he'll look to the dogs like, I guess I'm going to be in one of the thriving little spots. I guess I'll go sled. Don't a sled B for Barnaby. And Anila in sled A.
And yeah, that works out so well.
I am going to go with my sister.
All right, so everyone tell me in order which one slot they're taking.
Do you want it in text? Would that
Yeah.
be easier? Okay, I'll put it in the Discord for you.
Yeah.
So I'll take driver slot A1.
And I'm immediately going to slot, I don't know, A3, I guess? Oh. No.
Well, that's one just filled right there. We've
Yeah.
got A's done.
Can Beal ride on the dogs?
The dogs are not like horses. Their backbones are actually surprisingly fragile, so that would not be a good idea.
Beal only weighs 25 pounds.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's still like too heavy.
Okay, that's fair.
They're also small creatures. They're not a direwolf. They're not large.
Oh, that just okay.
Who's Althea again?
I mean, I can
Althea.
ride a
What?
medium
She was the
creature. I can
crazed
ride a
woman
mastiff,
we rescued.
but,
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's staying in the potion shop. Okay.
Okay. So,
Yeah, she was the one that introduces you to the potion shop owner. Like she is like
Yeah,
kind of friendly with them.
I
Remember?
didn't think she was still with us. That's why I got.
Yeah, no, she's
Yeah.
at the potion shop. Just right. Guess I'm riding with Zulfra and Anila, Bill, Barnaby, and Jason on sled B.
On the cons, you won't have to worry about the skills. We'll be taking up the blunt of it.
That was kind of the point. I get to hide behind the both of you, so that way the wind doesn't hit me as bad.
Right. So
Also
could you?
means that if there's a bump, you're the most likely one to fall off.
He kind of frowns at that, like he didn't consider it.
Beal just pulls out a blanket and hands it to Viridis from the bag of holding. One of the ones we stole from the tavern.
Yep. Just puts the
Is
blanket on.
is this it?
And oh, you know what? Sure. I just grabbed Jason and put him at the back of Zulfra.
Wait, why?
I'm gonna go over there and snuggle with Beal and be warm in the blanket. I got bribed.
Okay.
Yep, just here you go. Yeah. All right, Jason, enjoy the 2 giant Goliaths. Have fun with that.
There's still be
Alright.
a nervous wreck this entire trip.
At least you won't be cold.
I'm just picturing both the Tiefling and Beal just being thrown off the back while they're sat there just wrapped in a blanket.
Are you kidding me? I'm tying myself to the sled.
I have a question. Who amongst the party is dirty? And including amongst the miners. Like, are we staging outside the city?
Well,
Like
We are outside the city.
Okay.
I've just pictured that Sulfur cleans himself up with snow, but so probably a little bit.
Beal is just gonna look over everyone and just one by one use prestidigitation to clean them.
Guess all the fur and dog slobber is now gone.
Yeah, just Veridis looks down. You little shit.
Sulfur just looks down, frowns in disapproval as they pull out a container from the bag, start redoing their war paint. As it just fades away.
Yeah, just like, I've been complaining about not being able to bathe for like a week.
Yeah.
You could have busted this out so much sooner.
And I've had it all my life.
Well, how am I supposed to know that? You never told me you could do that.
Did you ask?
How do you ask something you don't know?
Hey, can you do this thing?
Barnaby, are you secretly a dragon?
No, but oh, by the way, since we're on the same sled together and I don't need this anymore, since we're out of town, do you want the axe? I kind of forgot about it until just now.
I mean, I would kind
Okay.
of look at it.
Can you even use it?
Of course I can. I know how to use just about every instrument of warfare.
Beal raises a hand.
Yeah, I'm more than willing to take that axe.
I'm gonna give the axe to Veritas. Beal, do you have a question?
Oh, I was wondering if, given Veritas's, dance moves, he must be really good with a halberd.
Barnaby just tilts his head.
You're never gonna live that down.
I'm never gonna live this down. I'm never gonna live this down. You get
You
drunk
take this.
one time.
Right, take the battle axe. There you go.
Yeah, I just take the
Um.
battle axe and just sigh heavily.
Good. Now I don't have to worry about that anymore.
Right.
What does it do?
It does fun stuff.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna be attuning to that while we drive.
Right? So, if your guys are going to start the sleds, give me the dice roll for animal handling, the ones driving. I was going to say that at a disadvantage because the dogs were a stranger, but one of you are not stranger status now, so only Anila gets to roll disadvantage.
I mean, if I speak with animals, can I get a normal roll, a straight roll instead?
Yep.
Awesome. All right, so I will burn the spell slot to speak with animals to give myself a better chance to roll this. Where's the button? There, thank you for accounting for that, and then it's just animal handling. There we go.
Damn.
Wow.
I rolled a 14, and you rolled way better. God damn.
14 is just enough because of not friendly status. No, so friendly, not stranger status. Anila proves to be surprisingly adept at driving the dogs. So much so that one of the miners that's holding just glances up at like Anila and gives her like a wave saying, you know, I salute you and your skill.
Yeah, she's gonna wave back a little bit. I don't want to say oblivious, but probably unaware of the full like repercussions of how well she's doing. Just that she's just basically talking to the dogs and we speak with animals until it'll stop working, and just talking to them about their day. Probably something mundane like that. Or
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Just as one of the dogs were telling you the story about how he rolled in a bed of flowers one day and found out later that they were itchy, poisonous flowers. You find out that actually, as you were about to start off, that Hakim's sled is not moving, and then the middle-aged woman, the passenger, actually leans over, talks to Hakim, though you are a bit too far to overhear her. Are any of you really good listeners?
Nope.
Perception. Let me double
I can roll
check.
perception.
Yeah, I'm not too. I'm not a good.
I've got
listener
pretty good
by any
perception.
means.
Is
My
kind of.
my passive perception is 15.
Ooh, that's good.
Yep, 16, yeah.
No, please roll active perception if you're trying to hear what it is.
Okay,
Will do.
active then.
5.
None of them above 20? Oh, Jason's above 20. Right. She leans over and you hear her murmur. My magic is the kind to spook some of your dogs. I think I might need to move to a different sled. And then, like, as she actually waves the dogs down, gets up, and someone roll me a d6.
Sure.
What is it? That's a 1?
That is a 1.
All right, 1 is Barnaby. Barnaby, she actually comes over to Barnaby and is going to ask you to trade sleds with you. But Barnaby's a driver. Will are any of the other two on Barnaby's sled willing to trade places with her?
looks down at Beal. You know what? I think it'd be a good idea for me to go over there and be on that sled.
Why?
I look over there and look at Sally's brother and Sally on the same sled.
No, Sally's
Oh.
on Brock's sled, as you can
Oh.
see from the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just Sally's brother.
All right.
Yeah,
So
go ahead and give him an earful.
Planning on it.
okay, so you change seats and you start off. All right. You are now traversing through the snow to your destination. Do you talk to either of the passengers that are on your sled among each other, or do you wish to skip to the first campsite?
I think I'll have a conversation real quick. Is her brother driving?
Yep. If you watch him drive for a while, you see that he's very methodical in the way he does so. In one sense, it's efficient, but on the other sense, he's treating all the dogs equally, like slower dog, faster dog, healthy dog, dog feeling a little under the weather, and that's causing a bit of a problem with the smooth running of the pack. Not too much, but a little bit. There's a sense of inflexibility about the way he drives.
You know, you could be doing this better, right?
There's actually a pause, and then he says, please do enlighten me, Bard.
Glad you picked it up on my job without me having to tell you.
With your silver tongue, what else could it be?
Well, you're treating fish and birds the same. See that dog over there? It's not running quite right because it's leaning more to the left, but it's on the right side, meaning that it would do better on the opposite end. You're putting your puzzle pieces together incorrectly. You're having the dogs do jobs that they're not good at.
If I start making. If I start giving dogs a little bit of perks and not treat them equally, eventually they will never learn to work with the group. This might be a painful process now, but eventually he will learn to keep up. Or he would not be pulling sleds anymore.
So instead of seeing everyone flourish in their preferred spots, you'd rather everybody work as just another piece to the puzzle.
It is important in order to make everything run smoothly. When a cog decides to be a square peg instead, and the people let it be a square peg, then everything eventually breaks down. It's just a matter of time.
Until you need that square peg and all you have is a broken cog.
Then we take a hammer and shape it into a square peg. That is what we always do.
Just shakes his head. Your way of doing things are backward.
Take the reins next time after the first campfire. I would like to see how your way does things.
You know what? I think I will.
Is that the conversation, or do you have anything more to say?
No. I now have a point to prove.
All right. Good luck. I mean, like the dogs are like really afraid of you. Okay. Um, back to the lady wizard. Do you guys talk to her or do you guys drive in silence?
So, what's your name?
Um, my name is Clara. Nice to meet you. Mr. Kobold, what may I address you by?
Beal.
Bill. A
Yeah.
good name, though I have not known it to be a common in the parlance of the Kobold tribe. You must have come from afar.
There's a kobold tribe?
Oh, she stares at you.
Like,
Um,
here.
I am not from here. I have just arrived at Scavencia, though it is not my first time at this frozen terrain. It is never get used to the cold though. And as she says this, whoever is on the sled can roll the following 3 skills, and success at each skill is going to yield different kind of information. It's going to be insight, perception, and arcana.
Well,
Barnaby, you can roll it.
okay, I'm gonna roll.
Yeah, I'm gonna do
Yes.
perception myself.
You're not on the card?
Oh, I thought you meant everybody on all of them. Never mind.
Wait, so I can roll all 3?
Yep, all 3.
Okay, let's do insight first. It's 23 insight, 12 perception, and 9 arcana. There we go.
Okay, neither of you get arcana, but you do get insight and a little bit of perception. Okay, so Bill, you recognize her accent as Imperial accent. There is a hint of poshness to her accent, like of nobles. But Barnaby, because you
I'm sorry?
right?
I'm sorry.
Hello?
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 Hi.
You guys can hear me?
No, I
Yeah,
can hear you now.
Cut out for a little bit.
Yeah.
Alright, so Barnaby, you, because you rolled more than 20, you pick up that this poshness of her accent is not something that she was born to. She just picked it up maybe by being around the people that speak this accent way too much. And not by being born to say this. That's what you get from insight and from perception. Oh, that's the one with perception. With insight, you get the feeling that even though she seems perfectly competent and maybe even someone a pretty good wizard, though you're not really sure, she has absolutely no adventure experience, no battle experience. She's never gotten her hands wet with blood or even dirt, only ink, you think. And it shows in the way she speaks, the way she moves, the way she comports herself.
You're a rather schooled person, are you not?
It is something that perhaps it is a part of my job.
So, you're a studied magic user.
Indeed, she nods.
Want to see something that'll break your brain?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that last sentence.
Do you want to see something that will break your brain?
She actually looks at you and then she smiles and says, by all means.
Beal is going to use her metamagic, which is a sorcerer thing that sorcerers just really love breaking magic. To twin casts a spell and she's just gonna launch 2 firebolts into the middle distance. I don't know, hitting like a snow dune or something.
Okay, I'm going to someone please roll for me to see if the dogs are spooked. Barnaby, roll animal handling.
What am I rolling again?
Animal handling to see whether dogs are spooked, and
okay.
both you and Anila must roll it.
Alright, it's 15.
It's fine.
Alright, Anila?
Unless
I'll give guidance.
he might be with children. Oh, it's unmuted.
Alright. So the dogs, with Barnaby's sled, the dogs jump, but they manage to keep regain its composure just because Barnaby is that skilled at getting them back to where like they used to be. But it was just touch and go. Like the DC was 50.
Oh,
Right. And the woman is not surprised, but she whistles like separate performance.
Beal, could you
wait,
maybe
you know
not?
how I did that?
She shakes her head and says, I have a bit of an idea, but it is not something that I could do, not at any rate. I have always had the greatest respect for those that had magic in their blood, however. I had to learn from it from scratch. Talent versus dedication, as you might say.
Viola is going to incite that.
What exactly do you want to know through this insight?
She wants to figure out if this person actually has like a respect for those of a sorceress origin, or are they jealous? And that's a net one.
That one, you have no idea. I mean, you do know that most people are like, jealous or scared or angry at the sorcerers and see them as a destructive force, especially the wizards. But she is very, like, her expression doesn't really betray anything. It could be she could be telling the truth, she could be being sarcastic, she could be lying.
Either way, Belle's gonna look smug.
Okay. And then she actually addresses Barnaby and says, I am glad to see such skill and expertise in the adventurers dealing with the last minute problem. Very much obliged to you all, gentlemen.
Oh, thank you. Side note, Beal, please don't cast magic like that again. You're spooking the poor doggos. And you, miss.
I will only do it in the case of something that actually needs to get shot.
Okay, good. I'm not really much of an adventurer per se. I mean, I guess I've been sort of dragged along into the whole thing. More of a hunter by trade and profession, I suppose.
Whether adventurers or hunter or not, though you do yourself disservice by lowering yourself when I see your skill. I do hope to see the contract safely concluded for both your sake, the director's sake, and ours. Please understand this as a voice of concern and not intimidation by any means, but it probably would not go well for either side if this falls by the wayside. You understand?
Oh, of course. It wouldn't go well at all. He just smiles at her.
Are important. Or not adamantine, mithril. It was mithril, right?
Yes.
Is that the question? Sorry, are you saying this to the woman or is this a player comment?
Mine is a player question.
Okay, yep, it's Mithra.
Okay. I get them mixed up even though they're very different.
Which one did you get that mixed up with?
Oh, I get Mithril and Adamantine mixed up.
Yeah. Alright, so that is what she says, leans back in her seat, and stares at the passing scenery. Are we skipping to the camp at night?
Yeah, I guess so. I ain't got nothing else.
Alright, so for brevity's sake, since this is a side mission, I am going to skip the travel scenes and only do the campfire scene on the second night. This is not the first night, but the second night. The first night you were forced to make camp quickly and then move immediately after a short rest only because of a storm that was incoming. This is the first time that you're actually making camp and maybe even hunt a little, and you guys are pretty tired.
Yeah, just I'm gonna get up because this is important for me. Barnaby said he was gonna go hunting, correct?
Yeah.
So Barnaby's out for this, so I have to speak with Anella and Zulfra. Guess I'm gonna go to the twins.
All
They're
right,
siblings,
so
not twins.
before you do that, please roll me a quick survival to see how quickly you set up tents and build a campfire.
Who are you asking specific? Do we all have to make separate checks?
I'm going to ask someone to make a like someone who has the best stats to roll, and we're going to take that for the whole party.
I got a 5 in survival. I know there's others that have betters than I do, though.
I have a
9.
6.
7.
All right, so
Well, Barnaby does all the work.
15.
Yep. Okay, 15. Despite your unfamiliarity with the area, your expertise shines through. Within the hour, the 6 of you are gathered around the makeshift campfire, watching the logs burn down to cinders. If you guys want to talk to each other, or maybe go find someone else to talk, this is probably the right time.
Alright.
Let me just post an NPC location right now, just a second.
Okay.
I'll copy paste it to the Roll20 so they can
Yep, because you succeeded at 15 and the others two got only 12, the miners are not yet finished like setting up tents.
Beal has been taking apart the end table and using it as firewood.
Alright, if you guys have anything to talk to each other about, now's the time.
Yep. Just gonna
If,
walk up to. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say if Veritas wants to talk to the other two alone, Barnaby could go into the woods for a little bit.
If you want to take, do you want to take the dog?
No, Barnaby is going to do. If they already hunted, he'll let them be. But if they still want to hunt, he'll go with them.
Yep, they still want to hunt. The miner looks Bynum looks a little worried about letting them go off with like a virtual stranger to him. But dogs bark a little bit, show that they are like being friendly with you, and he relents and says, please bring them back safe."
Oh, I will, don't worry. And during the hunting trip, he will cast the Speak with Animals again, just to make it easier.
All right, the dogs are super happy that you kept their promise with them. And then another dog says, "Bark, bark. If things go on like this, you might be called our friend, and not stranger."
Well, that's absolutely wonderful to hear. Now let's go have a good hunting trip.
There's blood, like there's a scent of blood in the air. It would be a good hunt. Bark. And please roll like any survivor or hunting.
25.
Wow! You know what? Like, you have earned the respect of all the dogs in the compound. Seriously, with that roll. The dog, like, by the time the hunting ends and you come back with within the hour, you come back with 2 deer and a brace of rabbits. And, the dogs are, like, following behind you, almost like, making you the temporary alpha. And one of them actually said, I mean, I wouldn't mind you being the alpha and not the serious guy.
Oh, quite an honorable. Oh, I'm flattered. Let's get this meat ready for everyone and for all of you.
All right, so everyone stops and stares, even Hakim and Brock, when you come back within the hour with 2 deer and a brace of rabbits. Actually, Brock comes over, stops cooking, like his vegetable bros, comes over, looks at you up and down, and says, "How did you manage to do this?"
I have a lot of experience hunting.
All right, I mean, it looks like we'll be having a feast tonight then, thanks to you.
Way to go, Barn. You're absolutely the best.
All right, so do you give him a deer for the other campfire?
Yeah, a deer for each campfire sounds good.
All right. So actually, then Brock waves you all over with the ladle after like he simmers the stew a bit and says, "Regard my masterpiece called Rabbit Deer O Brandy. Very good for resisting the cold, better than any potion. Puts the fire right in your gullet. If you guys would take a bite."
Oh, absolutely. Free food.
Mm.
Free food's our favorite food, isn't that right, Peel?
Oh yeah, Barnaby's having a good dinner tonight.
What did you need to talk about
Right.
with us, by the way?
Sorry.
Sorry. So after you get like the bowls, which is really tasting really good, but after 10 minutes later, you realize that it must have been pretty alcoholic because you feel it all go to your heads. You come back to the campfire.
Oh, sweet, perfect. A little bit of alcohol.
Yep.
Right. Zolfra, Anila, I need some help proving a point. I'm looking over my shoulder. Is he far enough away that he can't hear this?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm sorry. Sally's brother's kind of a jackass. To the point that he's kind of pissed me off a little bit. That's kind of really rare. He's purposely putting the animals in bad roles within their jobs. He's purposely putting them in the wrong spot.
Seems like a foolish thing to do.
Right, and he swears up and down that if something isn't fit for the role, you break it down and make it fit for the role. And the two of you, being of nature and of a herd, I'm assuming, would understand my frustration in that sentiment. You can't do that and expect the best outcome. If you give a hunter a pair of needles and tell them to make a scarf, or you hand the knitter a bow and tell them to hunt a deer, how well do you think your herd's gonna stay warm and eat that night?
You are right that certain people are usually used to other roles, especially if they're trained in that.
He's
Though
purposely... Oh, sorry.
I think
you can also
go ahead.
learn
Yeah.
to fill another role with time as well.
I understand that, but his ideology is if you don't fit the role I want you to, then you're out. Wasting resources.
So what
It
is the
is
plan?
a foolish endeavor from what it sounds like.
Well,
I hate waste.
exactly. You, Lanella, you can talk with animals.
Yeah.
His intention is to have me drive tomorrow, but I need to get to know the animals a little bit, and it would be nice to have, weirdly as it sounds, a translator for these wolves.
And what is the role that you're thinking for myself?
I was hoping that your spirits might help me. That you may pray to your spirits and see if they can guide me while I attempt this, because again, this is not my specialty. But he needs to learn that sometimes, if somebody is born naturally gifted at something, you need to let that flourish, to let that seed grow. Because I think that he's projecting onto these dogs the way he treats people. And if he is projecting the way that he treats people onto these animals, then he needs to learn that there's a better way of going about it. And I know that I am not the best to do this, but he challenged me, and I seek guidance from those who would know.
Considering the creatures involved, perhaps Waco, spirit of the wolf, would be intrigued to offer you their guidance.
Thank you. If in the morning you could bolster my ability with animals, that would be wonderful.
I'd have to speak with them. It'll be up to Waco if they give you their guidance, but if they do, you shall have it. Mostly curious to see how this will go.
Yeah.
Just reading something here. And I think Nilla will say, well, why don't we go meet the dogs now?
Of course.
Get to them, let you get their scent in, and then by morning, hopefully is it well enough? I'll cast Animal Friendship. I think if I'm reading this right, I think I can make it work to where these animals will view you more as a friend.
Okay.
You talk about the literal animal friendship spell.
Yeah.
It's a good spell. Just rub hand together, just Veritas. Thank you. I've come to rely on all of you during this time. Hopefully, eventually, you can do the same. And he'll get up and just like a Neil, if you'll come with me to the dogs, I guess. Which means
To the
like,
dogs!
yeah.
Are we doing this right now? I thought we'd do this in the morning.
well, get to know them tonight, and then I might want your prayer in the morning.
Very well. I'll probably need that time to switch my focus to evoke the wolf away.
Thank you.
Some simple guidance from the raven, easy to do, but the wolf is a little bit trickier.
Okay. And Veritas will go with Anella to go talk to the dogs.
All right, so as you see from the NPC location list that I put up a while ago, Hakim is finishing up tending to the dogs.
I just strut over there.
All right, he just looks up from rubbing down the last dog, and says, "Can I help you?"
You told me that tomorrow it was my turn to drive, so I'd like to get to know the dogs that I'll be working with.
Ah, of course. Let me not be a detriment to your way. He actually steps back, but he doesn't go away. Just leans on the trees and watches you.
Anila. Yeah. And he'll just kind of walk over to the pups. He knows that he's looking, like, he looks very strange and...
Okay. The one puppy that you remember, like, biting Anila's pants, he actually curls his tail between his legs and slink behind a rock. The other dogs, like, bristle, but they do not growl because they're, like, much too well trained for that.
Anila will start speaking with animals, cast the spell, and start voicing animal intent to say, like, this is Veritas. He is going to be working with you. He is going to be helping you find your destination. And he's really not that bad. Get to know him. Sniff him. I don't know what you say to dogs. What do you want to say to them, Veritas?
I want to make their jobs tomorrow as easy as it's been in a while. And as a peace offering, he kind of just crosses his legs, gets down, and opens his pack and starts pulling out a ration. And he'll go through and specifically pick out one that's got pork in it because that's probably going to get a little bit more popular with the dogs than venison.
So the dogs look at each other. Like, actually, the puppy, like, who is more attracted to food than most and has less self-control, come a few steps, like, not too close, not enough for you to actually touch the puppy, lowers his, like, forward body as if he wants to pounce on the food, but looks at you warily. And then he talks to Anila, but he smells of graveyards and dust and stone. This is not natural.
Oh, but those are natural, little puppy. Those are natural. Things are very chaotic on the other end of life that you have yet to experience, but that doesn't mean it's not worth experiencing. Sometimes it can be fun having the spookiness come
in. Just blink, because I can understand you just fine. Spooky. Other side of life, what are you talking about?
You smell of death and decay in their nose. I don't know if they're going to fully trust you.
Just blinks and is like, smells some death and decay. I'm not dead.
You reek from the background.
That's what the shower was for.
What do these puppies do?
Yeah,
I
just...
keep calling them puppies. They're wolves, aren't they?
Well, they are still puppies.
Yeah.
It's a dog.
So the wolf pup stares at the pork intensely. About a minute passes, and the pork says, "Is the pork tasty? Is it not decaying?"
It's so good.
Looks at Veritas warily and says, if I get close to him, am I going to get infected with that smell too? Is this like something that transmits, like fleas? I don't like fleas.
You and me both. I really dislike fleas. No, his smell will not transfer onto you, and if it does, we will quickly wash it right off.
Hey, you have fleas?
No, I don't have fleas. I did one time, but it was a long time ago.
I can give you some of my fleas.
No, I don't want your fleas. I got rid of my fleas.
Just blinking. This is the most I've learned about Anella the entire time I've known her. Right, just I'll look down at the pup and just not grin with teeth, but smile, teeth completely covered, so that way I'm not baring my teeth with them. And just close my eyes.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to roll like a charisma check. Persuasion. Actually, yeah. So, Veritas is going to be the one to roll.
What am I rolling?
And, animal friendship, okay. Please roll.
What am I rolling?
Persuasion or anything else you think is the right skill. Okay,
43.
with the animal friendship, it's enough. The puppy pounces on the meat, drags it back, chews on it doubtfully, actually looks back to the other wolves waiting behind him and say, "Oh, it's good," and snips himself and, "Oh, and I don't have that smell on me." And then slowly the other wolves also start to approach.
Alright, Veritas will just sit there and just stay in the snow and be around them, just making his presence kind of there. And in a very calm voice, "It is okay. I'm just going to be helping you out. I believe this will work better than it has been."
Alright, yep, so a couple of them start nuzzling cautiously. You see a few of them that's like still staying in the back, still worry. It doesn't look like they're going to approach. But like none of the dogs that are super worried are from your sled and Hakim's. So you don't think that's going to be too much of a problem?
So he'll just kind of sit there and pet the dogs for a little while, kind of just sit there and go through the food, and at some point he'll start playing music for the dogs, and even do like a minor illusion of other things like pups and other simple things.
Alright. The dogs start like requesting things. Does Anila pass along the requested like images?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Anila is 100% on board with this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, seeing what dogs request has got to be one of the most interesting things.
Anything the dogs request to see, like he will minor illusion it. Anything from like a running deer to basic raindrops, even like frozen in the sky snow, stuff like that.
Yep. Sunlight gleaming under like green grass and a lot of pretty things, some less pretty. One request of a field of poop and another request of a deer getting its throat torn out and the wolves howling in victory. But most of them are pretty normal. Very dog-like though.
Most of them are pretty normal. Yeah, no, he does that.
To me.
Yeah, just he does this and he kind of chuckles at the requests and just fulfills them.
All right, Hakim's still leaning on the tree, his arms folded and watching you. All right, so by the time your performance and your music end, the dogs are pretty relaxed. Even some of the ones that were hiding behind the trees have come out, though they do not approach you. They're just like a little bit closer to you.
That's fine. Alright. The real test comes tomorrow. Oh boy. Smell like death, huh?
Yes, they were very concerned about your smell. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
They have a keen nose, but I don't know. Maybe think about switching up the
It's not.
herbs or
It's
soap.
it's not that easy. Anila, you can't wash off. No matter how hard you scrub, you can't wash it off.
Well, that just makes me sad.
Yeah. But it's okay. Most people don't know it, but this is the closest I've been to dogs in years. They're usually terrified of me.
You don't say.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if this is the beginning of a new end, but I hope this progress keeps going. And then she'll look at Sally's brother Hakeem standing by the tree, and then she'll smile and wave, and she'll be like, and maybe he'll just eat his own heart out. Yeah, that's right. Keep smirking over there.
It just kind of chuckles.
Okay. If you guys are going to head back to the campfire, actually Hakim comes your way and says, "Do you mind if I join you at your campfire? I did have a couple of questions."
By all means.
To the whole group. Yep. Alright. So 3 of you come back to the campfire together. So everyone is there except for Sally. Because he sits down, inspect how well Barnaby has made the campfire, and then nods. Good fire. More than his
Not
skills, I
allowed-
see.
You're not allowed to ask where we got the wood from.
Oh, sorry, I didn't catch that.
You're not allowed to ask where we got the wood from.
He smiles and says, "Of course I wouldn't ask. But that explains one question I had at any rate."
Viridus just like face palms and drags his hand down his face as he notices the little knob from the table that was next to the bed.
You don't know if he noticed it or not.
No, but I did.
Yep.
Just.
What was your your
Yes.
first question?
The one that already got answered, looking at the fire. How you made it to Scavencia in a blinding snowstorm with the collective on your tail. Not a mean feat for strangers to the land.
We're very resourceful.
When you become a group of strangers, a collective forms. And sometimes we all have things we can do to contribute to the greater picture. All of us seem to contribute a lot to the survival of everyone here.
Oh, he actually looks at you, and for a moment you see a little surprise pass across his face, as if he had doubt that you were going to recognize the word a word, and you didn't. And then he pauses and says, "So you haven't heard about the collective, the one I just mentioned?"
I don't think we have.
I certainly can see that I haven't.
Lady Octavia hasn't spoken of it. Surprising. It is not like her. Was her more level-headed brother around to keep her in check?
Above table. I just want to challenge this dude so bad. I'm trying to be so polite.
I think everyone's trying to be polite, including him.
Sulfur is not. He's just looking at this guy like it's a disappointment, and that has not changed.
So you are the level-headed brother, huh?
He actually stares at you, and he actually looks at you, and for a moment, and he shakes his head, and I said, I mean Octavius. You haven't met him?
I have. I come from a very small village. As I kind of look over to Zulfra.
We have our own customs and different what you're used to.
So, not at Ironwood. I do know that you've met Octavia, but I had assumed. I think I must rethink a lot of what I had made, the assumptions I have made about you all then. So, please, do enlighten me. How did you get here from Ironwood then? How did you manage to shake off their trail?
We walked.
Very true.
That's
Just walked.
A little snowstorm covered our tracks and we just left. If you're asking how we escaped their initial bit of, well, I just have to say everybody here is a little bit more skilled than me at combat. Barnaby here is a monster. Zulfra is quite the war priest. Anella's literally a bear sometimes.
I'd be giving a little bit too much information.
Oh no. I don't think that giving out this much information gives away too much. And Beal here is just super crafty, and he just kind of like rubs Beal's head.
Beal
Yes?
wasn't paying attention, so he's surprised when Viridis pats her head.
Is Barnaby up for this conversation? Or are they doing their own thing?
Oh, he's there.
Yeah, everyone's here.
I'm curious. What does Barnaby say to this? If anything, I don't want to say try to force you to speak if you're not going to speak, but I am very curious to see your insight.
Barnaby is just smiling and listening in, and you can kind of see on his face, he's kind of glancing up in that thinking of, do I want to or not? And if there's a lull and a bit of silence, he'll go, I am, when he says I'm a monster, he flatter you, but, well, I am very, very sneaky, and, well, something I've been practicing and something that really helped me on the hunt. Do you want to see what that is?
He looks at you without explicitly saying one way.
This is for everyone. Watch me closely. I'm going to go over there. And he points up to a tree just out of reach of the campfire light. The campfire, I believe, was up to it's 40 feet good light, and then another 40 feet dim light. So he's pointing about to a tree that's 90 feet away, and he flies up and he goes in that direction. Once he gets past the light, he's just gone. Anyone with dark vision, he's just invisible. You don't see him.
Oh, that's so cool. And then he's terrifying.
And then he's just kind of laughing This I don't mind sharing, because what could you possibly do about it? Especially if I stay completely silent.
we're gonna have to
Oh,
do so
for
many
sure.
pranks. I've got so many prank ideas now.
And then he's just gonna fly back to the campfire, get in his little seat with his like friendly little smile, like, "Ooh."
Yeah, so Hakim will actually nod in appreciation at this display because he recognizes skill and expertise when he sees it. And then he says, "It is good that I have a chance now to talk to you all and come to my own judgment in this matter. What I have heard from Octavia, well, maybe it doesn't do quite justice to it."
Yes, it's quite interesting. She never really mentioned you, just in occasional passing.
Lady Octavia and I have a working relationship going back some years. Political considerations must play their part, you understand.
So, explain to me, what kind of things are we going to agree to terms? What kind of things can I say we can do, you're willing to do for these Myconoid people to help ensure the safety of the children that are locked away and the safety of your ore, it sounds like.
I doubt I had covered this during our discussion last night. Is there anything more particular that you wish to know about?
What bargaining chips do we have to offer them? We can't
I'm
just go
looking
down there
through.
threatening.
Yes, I don't think threatening a way of life and talking about an absolute vision is going to quite work with characters that seem to share their vision.
Whatever that the freehold can provide reasonably would be up to be put on the negotiating table. They do not deal with the rare metals or gold or human currency of any kind, nor do they use weapons or armors or magic beyond
That's what
what
I
it comes naturally
noticed.
to them.
We
So
could propose that we figure out why the individual went berserk, lending some credence to their claim, and propose that we fix what happened so it doesn't happen again.
if things did indeed turn out as the Myconids have described them to be, perhaps that should be one of the first priorities. If this is all a mistake, then I would be glad to be rid of it.
Who knows, maybe there's some type of weird mushroom down there that makes people go crazy.
There are many things in the Underdark that make people go crazy. The reason we do not usually venture in there. Unless we need to.
Well,
I'm just nervous that since we're not dealing with things that can be easily negotiated, we're going to be dealing with the ego of your settlement. And if I'm dealing with the ego of a settlement, I don't know exactly what I'm willing to state for the settlement, if that makes sense.
I understand you are asking me if you are given the full reign to offer things to the Myconid colony that would hurt our pride, our purpose even. Or perhaps some of us bowing our head to them, perhaps giving up opportunities, making promises that are detrimental to our purpose. You are the ones that will be going down there. As much as I and some of my people would like to, they are not allowing us in, and as such, you have full authority while you are there. It would be foolish of me to tie your hands before I even let you go in. After all, you are also risking your life.
Understood. That makes sense. That makes a lot more sense.
It sounds to me like we're not going to get much more planning done until we hear the other side.
Yeah. Yep. Interesting. Well, Hakeem, I appreciate it. It's a big day. I have a lot of driving to do tomorrow, and it seems like quite the weight of things are on our shoulders. I think I will retire for the night.
All right, Anila, and thank you again.
Of
You
course.
see, Hakim actually hesitated for a moment, as if there was something else that he wanted to say. I'm going to roll to see if he just leaves it or not.
Yeah, an insight.
All right.
Can I pry? Do I need to roll? Can I just in character just say, is there
Yeah.
something that you want to state, Hakeem?
I was just wondering how much you know about why you were there in Iron to begin with. As much as when I talk to you, I get the feeling that perhaps you know a lot more than you're letting on, and so also somewhat like that you don't even care.
I'm surprised if you would have the same information we have about why our existence in Ironwood would be there, but if you do, it would be intriguing to see that it is such a wealth of information out there of our current circumstance, I guess. I'll look to the others. I don't know how much I want to say. I've tried to be as vague as possible, so I don't think I'm the right one to be talking.
You are fine, Anila. I will be open completely because I honestly just don't care. Hakeem, I am missing so much time. So much time.
We're only missing a little time, too.
He nods. Different timetables. And he actually seems to pause for a moment, like he's making inner calculations in his head. And he nods. I believe the most recent one was Salamena. Yeah, you would be one of the ones that were uh, invited first, if that's the way Octavia put it. Of course, she has a way with words. And for the first time, you see a flash of expression pass by his face, and it's a very slight grimace.
Yeah. Just.
If that's something that you wish to inquire about, I can say that I have more information on why you were invited first, other than the fact that it took the collective a long time to find you all.
Well,
At least so I've been told.
me and Bill make it a very, very, very active habit to not be found easily. Well,
Yeah. There was one person that was following us. I think they were trying to kidnap me.
possibly.
Well,
Well-
I mean, we can't speak with the dead, so.
No, you can't.
Well, I find it quite strange that it took them so long to find me. I was living in Ironwood, well, the poor section, but still, I've been there for at least a few years.
This is more my personal conjecture than what I actually heard, but I have the feeling that it's not quite that they were looking for any of you by name. Otherwise, Salomena would have been the one to be found first, seeing as she was right there in Ironwood. It's...
Or
He
by
just shakes his head. Not by name. I do not think they knew your name until they actually found you.
So why were they looking for us?
If I had more than conjectures on that, I wouldn't be right here, like at this fireplace, sitting trying to pry information out of you, would I? I know some things about them. Presumably not as much as you, since Mr. Jason Stig Anderson here would have probably told you about the outpost. He sighs, thinking a bit, but I did have some information to trade, if you were up for it. But it seems either you're not up for it, you obviously do not trust me, which is well, or you don't have as much information as I thought you had.
Hmm.
Well, we
What's
have
your
the information.
conjecture? Why do you think they might have wanted us?
He stops.
Outside of the potential of Barnaby tasting like chicken.
He stops and then he says, Again, I have little basis for my personal conjectures. I would not speak of it yet, considering that the atmosphere here is hardly friendly, is it not? There is one thing that I have become absolutely certain of in my investigations, though, something that perhaps you all should keep in mind.
Please do share.
And it's that it had to be you. No one else in the world would have been done. You are, every last one of you sitting around this campfire, including Salomena Jeffries, irreplaceable in the collective's great plan. And while I do not know in the slightest what their great plan is. And again, I have little basis for my personal conjectures on why. This much is certain. As long as you walk free like you do this day, their plans are nothing but dust.
So what you're saying is, by us simply not going along with them and playing their game, we're winning.
Oh, I like the sound of that. Alright, well. Any of the rest of you curious about anything, or... Because I think I got enough of that out of that. Honestly, that information right there made my day, that I'm fucking over these people simply by not being there.
Well, I figured we already knew that they were looking for us for some reason. If we're not there, they can't do that.
Perfect. Alright, well then.
Well
Again,
then.
Hakeem, thank you. But,
I have one question.
Hakim was about to get up and leave, but he actually stops, looks down, looks up at you because you're in Goliath, you're taller than. And that is?
How long are you going to keep punishing Sally?
Okay, so there's dead silence at this. And how is she going to respond? Okay, so he pauses and then he says, and
Excuse me, sorry, I sneezed.
So he actually looks at you and says, "Why, what do you mean?"
This cold shoulder, this demeanor you have with her is very unfitting. Very, not standoffish, what's the word I'm looking for? Distant.
What?
I'm just curious to know, just because she made a bad choice, how long you're going to punish her for it.
Anila, was it your name?
Yes.
Do you know how many citizens there are in Truehammer Freehold?
I'm sorry, I don't.
5,712, including the 2 children that may or may not be alive. As 1/4 of this population are children under the age of 12. As director, I must put their survival first. Survival over hers. But I do not know if you would think of me any lesser for this, but as this was a question asked and I promised to answer, when I look at her, when I talk to her, I feel that my dedication to my purpose is faltering sometimes. Sally has always been my weakness. And at this late hour, when every single piece is coming together, I cannot afford such weakness. And there you have your answer.
Anila will take a deep breath, pause for a moment, look him up and down, and say, "Thank you for your honesty. I am sure you care deeply for Sally, and you express it in your own way."
He looks up at the stars and he says, "The stars are passing. Shift change. I'm sorry to keep you up. Get some sleep. Those not on the next roster." And then he walks away.
Just a nod.
Is this shit?
Interesting. All right, I'll go
Yeah.
to bed.
Veritas just blinks and just goes, I think I've got another song to sing tomorrow. And he starts plucking at his instrument. Can't wait for next campsite. And he'll just lean over and, like, just gently put his head against Bill's. Night, Bill. Keep warm.
From the bag of holding, she pulls out just all the blankets and pillows and everything that she stole from them.
Wait, you're inside the bag of holding?
No, she's pulling
No.
stuff out of the bag
Oh.
of holding.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
holy cow, I didn't know you could survive in those things.
If you can hold your breath indefinitely, you can.
I see you just grabbing stuff out. I got you.
Yeah.
I also stick my hand in there because I put stuff in there. I'm gonna pull out the fancy blanket and the fancy pillow. Yoink.
All right. So you guys have a good night's sleep. I was going to skip over to the end, like to the freehold, but since we have the next morning and the Veritas' interaction with the dogs, please do roll. Let us all see whether it had any friction.
Hold on.
Before all that, we have a ritual to do.
Yep, I go over to Zulfra. Hey, I hope you know that as soon as this man challenged me, I had a plan just already made in motion.
Dolph will take a reaching into the bag and pulling out a collection of simple herbs, a bit of what looks to be fur, gathering them in a bowl before lighting it. All of them crinkling up, Azulfa Eke. Woka Isas. Gathering the ashes on their finger, painting just across the brow. Vathalis. As I cast Enhance Ability upon you.
I'll take that sweet, what is it, the wisdom, the owl wisdom or whatever?
Yep, the one that will actually give you advantage for what you're looking for. I don't think I can do that and guidance because
You
they're
cannot.
both concentration.
Anybody else got guidance they want to slap on me?
Yeah, Neela will walk up and just place a hand on your shoulder and just be like, "Listen, you got this. It's about proving a point, right?" And then cast guidance.
Oh, we're a tag team. We're definitely siblings.
Oh boy. Yeah, no, just.
I do like that we have like multiple characters tied to nature. We have the hunter, we had the druid, and we've got the shaman. We've got 3 characters.
I have to double nat 1 for this to be a nat 1. So don't you voodoo this on me, Barnaby. Don't you voodoo me.
That's supposed to be my job.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, he's doing the good voodoo. Don't you do the bad voodoo. And what role is this?
Animal handling.
That will be a 21, and I'm going to arrange these dogs in arrange the dogs in the way that they look like they would be best suited, not the way that he was doing it.
Okay, that is over 20, so you have beat the NPC's roll. Yeah, so the dogs who were still rather worried and skitterish around you quickly perk up when they realize that they are moving much quicker and much more smoother now. Under your able command and leadership, they soon find their pace. And they look at you. You do not understand them because you do not have animal speech, with a fair amount of appreciation.
Veritas will start to just start singing out loud as possible, casting the minor illusions as they're going to just have more wolves running with the pack. And just having a blast while he's doing this. Because he did not think that this would be enough to fix him.
So, there's like a couple of joyful howls among the wolves as they enjoy running with illusionary wolves. Okay.
That's it. Just turn over to oh, sorry, I'm very bad at names.
Hakim,
and just go. You can't always fix every problem by forcing a solution. Sometimes you have to find the solution.
He has been spending the last few minutes watching you work with the animals, haven't said a word so far, letting you do your own thing. And then he actually looks back at you and nods and says, "I lost." And that's all he says on it.
Well, don't think of it as you lost. Think of it as something to learn. Because you are a leader. And these people need you. Much like these wolves need you. Don't look for the goal, look for the people. And if you look towards the people and work with them, there's no telling what you can accomplish. And he just puts a hand on Hakim's shoulder, and then he just makes a howling sound, and then goes back to singing with the wolves.
Alright. So, Hakim just nods at that. And he actually does seem to be thinking about this. And when he has that doubtful expression on his face instead of the grim expression that he always has, you actually realize that he's probably a lot younger than he pretends to be. And that is true because Sal is 17. And he's probably in his 20s.
So they're
And
about the same age.
yep, and you probably realize if all the stories that you heard about it is true, and he was the one that took over after his father died like 15 years ago, he must have been a teenager at the time.
Obviously.
Yep. So he he just sits down and he seems to be thinking. And with that, I'm going to just do the introductory photo to the freehold and I'm going to end it here. So give me a second. This is the time you usually end, right?
About an hour from now, but you are more than welcome to end
Oh,
early.
okay, no, never mind. I wasn't sure because like right now it's like 1 p.m. where I am, so I was wondering if it's like super late over like where you guys are.
It is 11. I'm not going to speak for the rest of you, but I can keep going, but that's on y'all.
Like,
keep going for
What
a
do you
bit more.
guys? Okay.
Another hour or so.
All right. So another hour then. Let me switch. Okay, so please tell me if there's anything else you tell each other about, anything else you want to do, or I'm going to skip right to the freehold.
I think I'm good.
DM.
Yep.
This is kind of weird. I don't know how I'm going to state this, but this is kind of something I was working on when a couple sessions ago. I have those squirrel bones that are blessed. I just want to roll, and it doesn't have to be anything more than just a simple yes or no or a very vague answer. I just want to know, as I pray to my gods and the stars and the animal shapes, do we have a chance of a peaceful outcome? I don't know how you want to roll that, how you want to do that. I just am very curious to know what the gods have in store, or what they
So
see.
please roll, and I need your prayer, the exact what you say about it, and the
Okay.
exact wording of the prayer is going to reflect into an incident in the future.
Okay. So I'll just do a straight religion because that's the only thing I can really think of.
Okay.
Oh boy, let's see how this goes. Oh no. All right. 14. But so what my prayer will exactly be. Ooh.
The wording is going to be important.
Okay. Souls of the ancestors that came before, of the ones that are yet to be born, and have insight. Do we have a chance for peaceful outcome? Can we protect the souls of the innocent in our endeavor? And then I'll roll the squirrel bones more or less. I don't know. Yeah.
Is this the exact wording?
Yeah. I'll keep it short and sweet.
Okay. So your square bone dice clatter on the flat earth where you rolled it in. Hmm. How do you usually get like answers to this? Do they just come to your mind? Do they come to you in your dreams?
It would be just an impression and influence, maybe a gut feeling that I have to have faith to go on. It can be as vague, it can be as as empty as you want to make it, but that's kind of how I view it. Are these as these bones kind of roll across the ground, I look at them and just kind of take any interpretation that comes to my gut and run with it.
All right. So your gut feeling, the impression you get when you have finished praying is that it's not a complete affirmative, but more like, let's see. You would like that. You feel the spirit of the ancestors, the warmth of their spirit wash over you, and you actually feel that they also wash over the image of the children in your mind.
Right.
And but not just your ancestors, the ancestors perhaps of the children, of the people of the settlement, and perhaps even of the Myconids. And you feel a warmth that tells you that perhaps this is possible, but at the same time, behind the darkness, behind the Myconids, the spirits, you, the children, there is also the smell of blood and the glinting of steel. That is how you feel.
That's a fair warning. That's a very fair warning. I get that completely. Okay. I think what I'll do is have a quiet resolve as I'm walking, or gathering up and packing up and getting ready for the dogs.
As you do so, like about 5-10 minutes later, you actually hear what you think is a voice in your mind. And then it is just a simple sentence, and it is in your native language. It says, I will tell you when it's time.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay? So that is it. Anything else, or I am moving on? I guess the silence is an answer.
Yes.
Okay. So about 7 days of actually 6 days, because Veritas has made the dogs a little bit smoother in their procession, and Hakim was the slowest when driving the cart. So I'm going to cut this down by 1 day. This is actually very important, the time and days, as you will find out later on. But anyway, so after 6 days of relentless journey, driving the dogs hard, driving yourself hard, you see a snowing rolling hill that once crested gives way to a gentle slope leading down into what looks to be a fortress of nature carved into a cliff. You have reached Truehammer Freehold. The imposing iron portcullis lifts to allow for the sled's passing. The guards on the walls, mostly humans and dwarves. You see a couple of other races, no elves. They seem alert and disciplined, and their equipment well maintained, but there's a strange sense of strength that's permeating the freehold. They saluted you as you travel by. The sleds are parked right outside of the gates. Dogs are released and taken inside one by one. The sleds taken into a warehouse. And you guys walk on foot through the gates into the settlement proper.
Well, this is certainly a bit of an upgrade from the last settlement. That wasn't the capital. At least they have a decent looking wall.
Absolutely.
You know, even if some of the leadership might be, anyways.
Alright, so after moving into the main past the gate, Hakim actually stops and Clara's right by his side, and he says, "Welcome to the Freehold. I have to leave you. I do have last minute paperwork to see to with Clara here, but Vice Director Brock will show you around. You will have access to lodging and supplies. You have free reign around the premises. barring criminal activities, of course. Then he pauses, turns to Sally, and says, "Except you, Salomena." Citizen Salomena Jeffries, you are prohibited from leaving the freehold until the Judiciary Committee decides on your penalty for abandonment of your post and duty in the spring of last year. According to the regulations, the standard procedure until a court date could be scheduled is a prison cell. And actually, as he says this, you actually Brock stomps up, folds his arms, and you hear from his voice that he's pissed. And he says, and the dwarf says, "What in the fucking nine hells, Hakim? Leave the poor child be. Is this really the time to talk about rules and regulations? We could be going to war any second." And then Hakim looks back at the dwarf and says, "It is in a time of chaos that the law should be upheld. If not by us, then by whom?" And there's a moment of standoff in the air and a charged atmosphere. Do you stay out of this or do you join it?
I walk over behind the dwarf and cross my arms.
Barnaby will actively walk between Hakim and Sally and just stare Hakim in the face, still smiling.
Yeah, Anila will walk by the dwarf as well.
Jason kind of just does the same thing Barnaby does, except, hand on axe,
Yeah, just
quietly.
There's not enough space anymore, so I just watch on as you're all squeezed in that one area.
yeah, just a nod. Hakim, we just went over some important life lessons a minute ago. Just on the way back. This might be one where you want to defer to the counsel of your elders.
So Hakim looks at Brock, looks at all of you that have moved between Sally and him, looks at Veritas and seems for a moment to hesitate on what he has just said. And then he's the first to break his eyes from the stare down. He says, "Fine. Since the vice director and apparently your new colleagues are vouching for you, I can commute this to house arrest within the settlement. But you are not expected to leave the settlement nor the buildings of the freehold beyond what is absolutely necessary, or we will do this according to the books, as is per regulations. Is this understood, Citizen Jeffries?" And actually, Sally looks noticeably happier at this, even though she actually turns to Beale, who's right, Anila and Beale, who's right by her, and mouths like silently, "I told you I was gonna get grounded for a year and a day."
Viridis chuckles.
Well, then we'll just pick the lock to yourself.
I mean,
Yeah, and then after saying this, he just stopped. He just went away with Clara, and then after checking that her brother is gone, Sally just whispers, "Thanks a lot, guys. I don't know if I could have stood another prison cell."
trust me, no one I work with is getting imprisoned. Unless it's me. And he just shrugs.
In prison for love, as Anila starts unpacking things. Can you believe it? In prison for love. As she starts moving things.
In prison
shaking
for
her head.
what?
Love.
Veritas just kind of makes a choking sound and just
Yeah, so Vice Director Bra also gives you a nod of true appreciation for taking his side. And then he says, "It is," but he says in an official voice, "It is already almost sunset, so I will mark on your map the location of the guest lodges. It is not far. please do look around the freehold at your leisure before heading there. I can arrange a party to take you down to the mines in the Underdark tomorrow at noon. Is this, okay with you?
That sounds fine. Absolutely fine.
Yeah.
From what you said when you talked to me during the beginning of the mission, beginning of the travel, you wanted to find out more, so you will probably want to talk to the widow of the deceased crew leader, I imagine?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
She is a blacksmith. I will mark her smithy on your map as well, and I will let her know that you are coming so that she is not taken by surprise. Give me a couple of hours to do so.
Okay.
I think that's going to take a little bit more of a gentle hand.
Speaking of gentle hand, one more thing. Do note that the fathers of the hostage children are demanding to talk to you as well. You do not have to see them, however. In fact, I would advise against it, as tempers are running high. This might be an unwelcome occurrence for you.
I think I'll go speak to the fathers.
I would like to speak to the fathers as well.
If you truly wish that, I will let. Currently, one of them is on the mining shift, but as soon as they come out, I will let them know where your guest lodges are. But are you sure that you want me to let them know? Again, you do not have to talk to them.
I'm quite sure.
I
Yes.
think it would be motivating, at the very least.
I think it might be best to split our heads on this. Do you care to listen to my thought? All of you. I don't want to. If you all want to stick together for this, I don't blame you, but I feel that there are certain people better suited to each individual task. I feel as though a gentle hand would be required for the widow, but I also feel like it would take a stoic but understanding with the fathers. I feel like Barnaby and Sulfra would do better with the fathers, and Anella and Beal would do better with the widow.
And where does that put you?
Well, I don't think I would be much help in that situation. Either of them. I'm a little hot-blooded on both situations. And I feel as though I can do better with maybe running some cheer through the people. This is harsh times, and maybe just a little bit of joyfulness will lighten the mood and maybe help ease some suffering. I was thinking maybe just posting out in the middle of town and start playing.
It wouldn't be a bad idea to ease some of the tension. Obviously, some of the leadership of this settlement is harsh.
I think I'm starting to understand what's going on. And I don't think we should blame the poor kid.
He's a young man trying to have a city in crisis survive. This place is in a constant crisis. Have you seen the environment?
Yeah. And yet it's doing well, considering
Well,
Right.
if you and others want to sit at the bar and stay out of it, I think that's quite fair. But yes, I will speak to the fathers, and I think I'll even speak to the widow as well.
Of course. Just a suggestion on my end, not something meant to be taken super seriously.
Hmm.
Just a feeling I got is all. I just want
All
you
right.
to know that he looks between members of the party, specifically between Barnaby, Zulfra, and Anila. I'm counting on you. These people are counting on you.
Hmm.
And
Oh, Brock's gone.
yeah, no, he left a minute ago. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, just I believe in all of you. And all of you get a bardic inspiration for the next hour to be used on basically fucking anything you want to do. You want to use it to kill somebody, you can.
All right.
You wanted to use it to heal somebody, you can.
Barnaby is just going to say out loud, you know, I really should have asked Brock one thing, one really, really important thing. Where Hakim's lodges are. Maybe if he had a window. Something I could, remind him that, well, if he tries to put his poor sister in a cell, he can't see me in the dark.
Well, Barnaby,
Hey, you're scaring me.
yeah, I just put a hand on Barnaby's shoulder and I don't think that's going to be necessary.
Just still smiling throughout the whole thing.
Just a pat.
Mm.
I'm glad you have our compatriots' well-being in mind, though. And then I take out my guitar, start tuning it, and I'm going to start making my way to the middle of town, which is what he said he was going to do.
Okay, so everyone tell me where you're heading to, what you're doing. In groups or by individual?
Jason is still freaked out by the Goliath, so he's probably gonna stay with Barnaby if Barnaby allows it.
Anila
Oh, yeah.
wants to get close to Jason. I'm messing.
It's super funny. It's super funny because the scariest person here is the person he feels the most comfortable around.
Right.
Barnaby has been nothing but kind to Jason.
That's also true. He's also been nothing but kind to all of us. But
Yeah.
also, I should have asked him where that man sleeps. Could remind him in the middle of the night when he can't see me that nobody'd ever know what happened. Fucking horrifying. I love it.
I think Anila will stop and get something good to eat. Is there any good market stalls that have something that smell delicious, DM?
So I'm going to start with that first. So the ones that are going to the straight to the town itself are Anila and Veritas. Or are you all making your way to the middle of the town because you have to pass it on your way to the guest lodges anyway?
I think so. I think we'll all be together.
Okay. So even though this is barely sunset, all the doors are shut and barred, all the taverns and shops have their lights off, and only green-faced men and women carting war supplies and weapons can be seen on the streets. There is nary a child in sight, unless you see one pushing the carts, but he is also working. And the more you walk the deserted streets, the more certain you are of the source of this rain. So this is very much not normal, And as Brock already said, this is a settlement that is preparing for war. All else is shutting down in anticipation of it.
Well,
You see glances going your way, but not all of them are curious glances. Some of them already seems to be aware of who you are and why you're here. And others are looking at you with quite a bit of surprise as Goliath's eye stifflings. Most of the people here are humans, so they're not really used to other races.
well, if there's nothing good to eat, then I suppose we'll go to the widows. I mean, if everyone's packing up and moving, I mean, I don't know where else to go besides the widows at this point.
I mean, if you look around a lot, eventually you can find a couple open places because people still have to eat.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
you
Yeah.
do you look around?
Yes, I would love to. Do you want like a roll, or do you want me to just look
Yes,
around?
I want to roll.
Okay, I'll go investigation since I'm
Yeah.
actively looking.
Yes,
Come on, dice. A 15.
50. So, okay, so 10, 15, 20. All right, at 15, you managed to find a place with a light inside. It's actually one of the biggest buildings in the area. And when you peek in at the doorway, which is open and letting in the winter air, you see a crackling big fireplace inside. And you actually realize that this is not quite a tavern. This looks like something closer to barracks, a place, a dining hall. And you see a lot of miners that are either going on shift or just off their shift, going to get their bout of stew and bread. Your entrance has at your entrance, everyone turns their eyes to you.
Anila will just smile and look at everyone and just be like, huh, interesting. And hold the door open for anyone else who chooses to come in.
Beal will kind of do a bit of a slide in and do jazz hands.
At the side of a kobold, like a couple of men put their hands on their swords and axes, and then another person just waves them down.
Oh no, they're racist.
Okay. I think Anila, if Beal's the only one that's in there with him, with her, Anila will pull Beal close and just be like, "Stick by me, just to be safe." Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okie dokie.
You hear like someone like asking someone else in a low voice, "Are the Myconus alive with the kobolds now?"
Anila's gonna try so hard not to pay attention, and just make their way to the soup and the bread, and ask if they can pay for a bowl for them and their kobold friend.
The person that is handing out the bread and the stew will not take money from you or from anyone really. You don't even see a counter, and he says, we the food that is provided in this barracks is not for cost. Anyone that works and contributes to the freehold may come and take as much of it as they wish. And you, from what I hear, he smiles at you all, are also contributing to the safety of the freehold. I thank you all on behalf of the freehold. And when he actually nods to you, other miners, some of them seems to understand what he's talking about, others don't, but they also like nod at you in respect. They seem to take his word for it.
Anila will smile, and at those who nod, will nod back, and will look back to the one that was talking to her and Beal and the group, and will say, Well, I will do everything in my power to make sure we come to a resolve that is beneficial to both parties, especially this very comforting freehold and what they have done.
So the miner that had asked that silly question actually turns red, perhaps with embarrassment, and frets a little bit, and then looks up at Bill and says, "I'm sorry, I spoke out of turn. Apparently, I didn't know what was happening." He actually
That's
apologizes.
fine. I've had worse reactions.
So like his drinking buddy who was like right next to him just like punches him on the shoulders and says, yeah, a true man apologizes. Good on you. And then like gives you a nod as well in appreciation for accepting the apology for what it is. And slowly, the people go back to their soup and their bread, though you see a lot of curious glances stealing your way.
It's almost like, what's up with kobolds around here? Are they like your enemy or something?
Where's this question addressed to?
One of the two men that. The guy that apologized.
Oh, um, you're the second kobold that I met. I don't think some of the people around here has even met a kobold. I am I don't think there's any in the area, though there's an interim merchant that comes by like once in a long, long while with the bag that's twice the size of his body. That's the only other one I know.
Huh. So then, why is there so many hostile reactions?
If I explain that, I might be committing impropriety. Is that the word? He seems to stumble over the difficult word, and he says, "Is that okay?"
That's fine. I'm asking the questions, so I'm not going to be offended by the answer.
And then he lowers his voice because you guys are monsters, or that's what some people think you are, and we're going on wars in a couple of days, and then the monster comes into the barracks, and some of them just assumed, I think, that we were going to be attacked, and maybe like Myconus were outside our door or something. I don't think it was you being like a kobold that was the problem here. Sorry, I didn't mean to insult you. I know, like, you know. Yeah, sorry.
Oof.
What makes you think the Myconids are looking to attack?
Well, because they kidnapped our children. They killed our people. They broke our 15-year-old like peace treaty, and now they're like keeping all our like the ore. Apparently, that they have the towers. Probably thieving murderers, or like that's what the other drinking buddy said to me.
I have a feeling that there's a lot of rumors going around that aren't based on anything other than drunkenness and anger.
And then the drunken, like the other drinking buddy, like not the one that actually said this, actually pipes up from the other end of the table. I heard that they used magic and they just teleported all the miners into the lava.
That seems extreme. Even
That's
for
what I heard.
Myconids. It's... Sure, who did you hear it from?
Actually, he's thinks about it and looks at the other friends and says, "Who did you hear this from?" And then they look at the other friend and says, "Who did you hear this from?" And eventually you realize that a lot of those like rumors are circling around, and things are being added onto it as things progressed. Rumors progressed, and you actually hear like a couple of names mentioned over and over again. Neither of which you recognize because they're the names of locals.
Well, that's very
Um,
possible. Mhm.
for reference's sake, one of them's name is Alan, another one is Estelle.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
did either of those two people have family amongst those that were killed?
Oh, you heard. Yeah. I mean, poor Alan. I know he can be a little abrasive sometimes, but his son, I totally get why he's like up in arms about it. It's like it's the one of his son, that his youngest son was the one taken hostage. Ash, like his name is. He's 10.
Hmm.
He's the youngest minor we had.
Yeah. So, you're taking all of this from a man who wouldn't have a means to know that these are the actual facts of the matter, who has justified reason to be angry.
At that, you actually see a couple of like people from the other tables who also seem to be listening in to you out of curiosity, murmur a bit. Because like that makes perfect sense. And another one whispers that true, his shift doesn't even go down all the way to the Underdark. He's the surface mine crew.
So it's best to think of this with a logical, clear mind. There is two truths of the situation that we know. That the Myconids are saying, this isn't necessarily the truth, but this is what they're saying is the truth, that the miners went berserk. This could be caused by many things in the Underdark. It is a very dangerous place. And that 2 children are being kept away from the surface settlement. Again, because the Myconids are claiming it's for their own safety.
I don't know. I mean, you say that people go crazy all the time in the Underdark, but it's also true that in 15 years this has never happened before. We're pretty aware of the dangers of mushroom spores around here. It's been like years and years since anyone's like gotten, into ambushed by fungi like mind affecting fungi. And especially like Corbel, the one that apparently went berserk. He has had a lot of experience under his belt. I don't think he would have been tripped up by something like that.
Oh, I don't get me wrong, this is all hypothetical and theoretical. But it's not impossible. And there are other things down there that can influence someone's behavior.
You see, like a couple people, minus nod. Others look a little more skeptical, but it seems like you have said enough that even after you leave, they would be talking about this and thinking about what you just said. So there's a fraction of different air about the way like people are talking and moving, as if a part of what you said really struck home. You get the feeling that they've never really like seriously thought about this beyond like what they were told. They're simple miners, but you have logic on your side. Okay, so Bill and Anila were the one that entered this barracks and had the conversation. What were the other people doing?
Barnaby probably would have taken Jason to the lodging.
Yeah, just abandoning him there.
Yeah, just like find some warmth, and unless Jason wants to go somewhere else.
I mean, he's gonna follow you around, but
Yeah.
Okay, what about the other two? Zofra and the Bard? Veritas?
Good
Oh,
question.
sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Where are we going, apparently?
Oh, you're coming with?
Well, I'm not doing anything at the moment.
I'm going directly to the center of town to start playing music.
I guess I'll do what I did before. Keep an eye out, make sure no one's causing trouble. Listening in. The basic stuff.
Alright, so you guys split up into 3 parties. The barracks was where the Kobold and the Nila was. The Barnaby and Jason, you go straight to the okay, so lodgings are the guest lodge is modest but clean, with crisp cotton sheets and bean pillows. It is spacious enough to hold 6 of you. And actually, there's a boy at the counter, about 13. He's gonna lead you to your rooms and bring you towels and heated water for your bath. And then, yeah.
Well, Jason, I'm just going to sit around here for an hour or so to give that poor widow some time. I think Brooke said he had to, give her a heads up. Does it take 2 or 3 hours? I believe he did. Besides, I need to wait for Anila. And I think also Bill. Why don't you go get washed up?
sure,
Alright.
sure. How do you do that?
So the water is just the right temperature. The boy will bring you whatever is requested, soap, towel. None of them are luxury, but they're like decent material. He's going to ask, anything else I could get for you? He's looking at you guys with like kind of sparkling eyes, as if he's also not seen many like outsiders to the freehold.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Looks at Barnaby.
I don't need anything like math or anything. Perhaps you could tell me the latest rumors going around.
Oh, is it true that everyone's going to battle? Papa says a lot of people might die to chop up mushroom people if the talks break down tomorrow. Will you save Ash and Rebecca and, be a hero and have a shining sword and chop up all the mushroom people?
What an imagination. We're going to make sure, to the best of our abilities, that battle doesn't happen and use our words to bring peace back between you people in the mushrooms and bring back the children who have been taken.
Oh, I'm glad. I mean, shining swords are great, but it's better that everyone's safe. And Rebecca and Ash are my best friends. So actually, my best friend was Jake, but he died in a cave-in last month. Happens during mining sometimes. So Ash is not my best friend now. I don't want him to die.
I'll do everything that I can do to ensure to bring them both back alive and well.
You look really trustworthy. You look like you're a great hero. The person that went to get washed up, maybe not as much. But they also say the heroes don't look like heroes because that way when they have a shining sword, they look so much more like heroes. And he hasn't drawn his sword yet, so I totally understand.
Yes, it's been a long journey for him. I'm sure once he gets all nice and cleaned up, he'll look much more like a grand hero.
Ah, all right. I go tell my other friends the news. I'm so glad that you came to help us all. I think Papa's glad too. I mean, Papa's super worried these days. He just stands at the window. I think this reminds him of the old days.
Where is your pop right now?
Oh, like on his shift, I guess.
Oh. Ah. Hmm. All right. Well, I I don't really know what else to say. I'm so bad at conversation.
I'm sorry. I leave you to your rest, I guess. Thanks for talking to me.
No, thank you for the conversation. Oh, and thank you for the flattery. Oh, hero.
Yep, he gives you a brief wave and he goes back to the storage room, presumably to tidy up. Okay, moving on to the people going to the center of the town. As said, the streets are mostly deserted. You see a couple of lanterns burning in the behind the windows of houses, but the windows themselves are closed. You come to a clearing in the middle of the town where you assume usually festivals will be held. In fact, there's actually a little bit of placards and colored paper shreds lying on the ground from what happened during the last festival, probably a few months ago. But right now it's empty.
So it appears that nobody's in like the town square at all. That's unusual.
People must be hiding away due to the talks of war.
That or they're in the workers district.
In that case, they're helping to assist for the war effort. Seems the only thing people have really been talking about is that at the moment.
Right. Well, what do you think the workers district is? If I can't find people here, I'll find people there.
Well, workers district. Not too familiar with places like this, but that's usual. I would guess it's a place with the most compact building, as you want to have access and keep the heat in. If you look around, you might find something like that for it to fit.
Alright, let's take a look around then.
All right. If you look around, you can find out easily that usually most of the workers here would be either miners or the crafters, the blacksmiths, the people like goldsmiths, silversmiths, people who actually melt down the ores and in forges and make them into bars. So depends. You could go towards the mines, which is where the barracks are, or you could go towards the crafting district.
The crafting district is probably going to be more actually like focused on like people there.
Yep.
So that's probably when I'm going to start heading that way.
Yes.
I've had conversations with you before about not just how people should function, but also motivation behind functioning, yes?
We've had such conversations before, yes.
shall I do a demonstration?
Don't see why not exactly doing anything else at the moment.
Yeah. He will go to the Crafters District.
Okay. And when you look at the map and you find the way to the Crafters District, you find that here you see windows open, you see doors open, and you see a blast of like hot air come out from the forges that are full like at hard work. You see men and even women go around carrying weapons, and you see other people like mending horseshoes, putting like even making armor, some of them.
When I get there, I'm gonna walk into like the center of the area, and I'm just gonna stop and just listen for the natural rhythm of the sound of hammers hitting anvils and the footsteps of people, and start to hum before pulling out the guitar.
All right. If you're going to sing, please give me a performance roll and tell me what you sing.
Let's see here. He's going to, I'm gonna roll the guitar thing, but I could roll, yeah, I'm gonna roll the guitar, because that's the actual thing I've got set up for the guitar. But the beat of, I know. How many of you are familiar with Warframe?
Sorry,
Warframe.
Nope.
It's a game.
I am.
I'm not.
Oh, wonderful. Hold on. I'm gonna do something without playing it so I don't get copyright struck. Because this is owned by a company. And I'm gonna post it in chat.
Okay.
Start to whistle and then start to play the guitar. Well, shit. Didn't mean to roll that way. 1 second. I'll go ahead and just roll the inspiration so I can just re-roll the entire thing.
Okay.
And I'm gonna take that bless off unless the unless the big guy's gonna fucking guidance me. Let's see here. Guitar. And charisma. 23.
Okay. 23. The hammers like ringing on the anvil still goes on because you can't stop halfway if you start hammering, or otherwise it's all going to be destroyed. But every other like sound slows. The wagons dragging on the dirt, the people going to and fro, and you see a lot of eyes on you.
He's using the anvils as a beat. As in literally incorporating it into the music.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's actually, please roll like a D4 and add it to your score, since you're using the anvils as a beat and they're very regular.
25.
25. All right, that was just enough. You've managed to not only capture people's attention, but some of the people, like the strain disappears from some of these people's faces. It's almost like you've made them forget for a moment that there's about to be a war going on. And when in this brief silence between you passing from one song to the next, you actually see a brief applause from some of them, and others go about their business but doff their caps to you.
Of course. He just kind of sits there and cheers them up for a little while. How does it look like their productivity is getting during this?
Are you? Do you have skill sets about mining or crafting metal?
I don't have the ability to do skills, but I can tell when people are moving quicker.
You don't know about moving quicker, but there's a lightness to the air, and people seem to be putting less effort into like doing the same thing. But that's the power and the promise of a good song, a good working song. You actually hear a couple of them as they pass, like pushing a wagon along, like singing along, though they do not seem to know the lyrics. What are the lyrics, by the way? What kind of song are you singing?
I posted it in the Discord. If
Yeah,
you'd like to
but
listen.
I don't, I know the melody, but not the lyrics themselves. What's the story?
Um, it's not a story this time. It is a song very simplistic in nature.
I know this song. I love this song.
Good. I'm glad you do. It's a fantastic song. It's literally a song about community and working together. Veritas knows that these people are suffering from a divide in these times due to their allies seemingly breaking their accord. So Veritas steps in and begins to sing a song about togetherness and working together, taking pride in your work and where you're from.
All right. So after a while, the hammer, like sound of the hammer on the anvil in the smithy that's nearest to you, like stops, and the blacksmith actually comes out, and he actually has a tankard in his hand, and he passes it to both of you, and he says, "In payment for a good song, as slight as it is, we all thank you."
Wait, what did you just give me?
A tankard. You got ale. You got ale.
Alpha
Actually,
will look at
yeah.
the substance and then give a small sniff before his nose just scrunches up. I thank you for the offer.
And we thank you for the song.
No, you're not allowed to smite me for doing a good middle fingers.
And then she rolls back her sleeves back up, and is about and goes back into the shelves to choose the next sword to
Is it like a full tankard or like a half tankard?
Oh, it's actually a full tankard.
They really like the
Okay,
song.
just looks at it for a moment and looks back over to the blue boy, because I keep forgetting how to pronounce your name.
Veritas.
Veritas. Gulp that down this moment.
Cheers. And he just downs it.
And the moment he puts the mug out, he just pours his own into your mug.
This is not ale, actually. You're not really sure what this brew is, except you know this is local. And there's a flavor of fruit, a flavor of grain, a flavor of something else. But it's really good, but the problem is it goes straight to your head. This is heady brew.
I do not take things that dull the senses. So you can enjoy that.
More for me, even though this is a terrible idea. If you see me with a halberd, you knock that halberd the fuck out of my hands. And I take the second,
Why would you even get a halberd?
I don't fucking know. Just after he fucking finished chugging the second mug, I don't even fucking know, man. Shit, this is strong.
All right, you're going to get the drunk condition since you drunk both of them.
Hell yeah.
But hearing this talk about halberd, I'm gonna look around. Is there like a broom nearby or anything like that?
What do you mean a broom?
Like a broom or a brush, something that's like a long thing.
Oh,
with something
yeah.
on the end of it.
Yep.
Hey, I think there's a halberd over there to point to the broom to the now swaying tiefling.
That's a fucking broom.
Oh, you're not that drunk then, damn.
I'm still pretty fucking drunk. I'm currently arguing with 3 of you, I think.
Oh, that's just some tricks. I'm sure. Your little friend did it for me before that he ran by and then left.
I'm so fucking proud of her.
And what are you proud of exactly?
Well, I mean, she grew up like me, but she's turning out so much better.
Details like house. What makes you so proud?
She hasn't lost sight of the good in the world yet. And he just starts rubbing at his eyes and just like, can you take me back to the inn?
I will walk, and if you can keep up, you get back to me.
Alright. And he'll just start to follow.
If you collapse, I'm pulling you by your tail or your foot, whichever I get first.
Please do the foot, the tail's attached to my spine.
Does seem sensitive.
I'm very sensitive. It's prehensile, just out. But yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no, you're good.
So I'm going to end with the final scene, which is you guys are all back at the inn, guest lodges, and by this time, since you all have been out doing duties, washing up, stuff like that, it is well past sunset, and it is passing to midnight when you hear like pounding on your door.
Fuck.
We're being summoned. What if the midnight raid? What is it? Just throws the door open and looks on the other side.
Okay, you realize that there's like not a lot of people on like behind the door. There's only 2 people, and the person who has been knocking very, very forcefully at your door is the one on the left of this picture.
Oh boy, pictures, give me a second.
To the
Left.
left. Oh,
Yep,
the beard
he's the
to
one
left.
that's been pounding forcefully. He has still like he has a minor shirt on, still covered in stone dust and sweat. The other one looks to be like not dirty at all. He's in a robe of more clerical nature. You quickly get the feeling that this is probably the father that Brock said would come to see you once his shift is off.
Yep,
Okay.
Shit. Fuck. Piss.
Oh, goody.
What do you want?
Neela will stand up and be like, I see.
Yep,
Please come
yep.
in.
Sir Fred, be nice.
I am being nice. What do you want?
I'm pretty sure this is the father that Anila and I were going to speak with. Am I correct in that assumption, mister?
He nods. He's not exactly hostile to you, but he seems like a taut bowstring, like really tense and ready to like pop like a spring everywhere. He says, I'm Ash's father. My name is Alan. This is Ryan. He's Rebecca's dad. I have heard from the vice director that you were the negotiators for the children and for the war. Is this true?
Oh, yes. Yes, it is.
Correct. Don't just die in the hall, let's go inside.
Then he actually steps forward and he says, Then I am here to make a desperate request of you. Strangers, if you have any heart, Could you promise me and Ryan here that you would set aside Hakim's cold-blooded priorities, that you would put the lives of our children ahead of reclaiming the Midroll?
Oh, yes, that was the whole plan for us.
Thumbs up.
We weren't really caring about your alls anyway. Lives are more useful.
Yeah,
Hey.
no. Sirs, I'm sorry, I'm a little drunk. That was always the plan.
He takes a deep breath and he seems a little bit relieved because he was about to go in here and cause a ruckus if that was like a refusal. But however, the one in the clerical robe, the one that hasn't spoken so far, seems to look at you like mildly, and you get the feeling that he's rolling inside.
Yeah, no, absolutely, 100% means it.
Okay, do
I'm
all
drunk.
of you mean it?
Oh yeah, Barnaby means it.
Yes.
Yeah, my words were exact on lives are more useful, and yes, I do mean that. Lives are more useful than just materials.
Right, so you are okay, so you are being truthful in that if it comes down to either the children or the medal, you're going to choose the children. Okay. All right. Then he takes a deep breath. He looks at you with a little more relieved expression. This is the miner, and he says, "I am glad that you are people that know what is important and what is not. While at it, though it pains me to involve strangers into our settlements, I would make another request of you. Would you hear me out?"
But of course.
You've woken us up from the middle of the night, so
Well.
we're hearing you out either way.
Well, I wasn't asleep.
I'm still
Yeah. He gives a wary, apologetic grin, and he says, "I came as soon as my shift was over. I am sorry. I did not think I would get a chance tomorrow."
Oh, you're fine.
He says, I hear that you came to the Freehold with our director, Hakim. He, as you probably understood from your interaction with him and from how this whole hostage crisis has unfolded, he cannot be allowed to run the Freehold anymore. He cannot be allowed to run this war, run all of us down to the ground. He has too much as my child, as his child, and he's just as Ryan, who still hasn't spoken, and perhaps doesn't even agree completely with the one that's speaking. He has too much blood on his hands for that. And moreover, and then he looks at all of you, I have good reason to believe that he's lying to you all, lying to all of us. So, if
What exactly do you think he's lying about?
well, that's the problem. I have circumstantial evidence. I see inconsistencies, but that's what I have now, and that's not enough for I and my friends to tear him down from his post. I need hard evidence, and I think you can get me that evidence.
Well, you could just act without the evidence.
No. Zolrak, if they acted without the evidence, then bad stuff could happen to them and then nothing would change. Besides, I'm starting to think of what could have possibly happened. This is just a theory, but what if, according to the Myconids, the minor leader just up and attacked? What if Akeem, again, hypothetically, theory-wise, Akeem basically gave him payment or whatever to attack, to hopefully wipe out the Myconids and create this whole situation so that they would have a reason to wipe out the Myconids and no longer need to, ask permission to get the Mithril. I mean, granted, I don't know how it works down there, but that's the only reason I can think of why Hakeem would, you know, actively do this.
Hey GM.
Yes?
With my understanding of what happened earlier, this does not seem likely.
Does it?
It does not. With the interactions with him, and the way that Hakeem was acting during the travel, I don't think this is malice. Do you want me to roll a retroactive insight?
I will let you roll. It's going to be a little more difficult because this is retroactive.
13.
With 13, over 10, but not over 20. Okay, this is what you are not completely sure, but you get the feeling you totally get it that he might lie to you, but you don't think he's going to sacrifice, like, the settlement or its people for the purpose.
Yeah, he just shakes his head. I think that the two of you are acting out on rage and are coming up with reasons to be angry with anyone. I think that you're upset that your children are taken and that things have been going wrong. I don't think it's malice. I think that your leader needs time to learn how to be a leader.
So, actually, you actually see the other one, the one that's like not said the word so far, actually nod at you. He actually seems a little more like of your opinion, but the miner cuts in and he says, like slightly raising his voice, it was Hakim is nothing like his father. It was Hakim that lowered the minimum working age from 15 to 10. He's been driving production far beyond what was necessary for taxation, though he pretends that the settlement is only making its taxation ends meet. I'm pretty sure of it. I have not been to the Underdark. I have not been allowed in. But I see the carts that are coming out. I see the equipment that's going in. Nothing matches up.
Would you please allow us to investigate it? I think that you might be right that something's wrong, but I don't think it's Hakim's fault. He seems like he really cares for your people. He went out of his way to make sure that we do our best for the best outcome for your people. Even at the cost of the Myconids, which he stated was a long-time friendship to your people, that he would prefer the Myconids be gone, the kids saved, and the ore freed, but everyone on your side above them. I believe that in this situation something is wrong, and there's a scared kid running a town he was never prepared to run, and that he might need your help to make it work. You shouldn't run to accusations, but you should... I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Barnaby.
No. I was just going to say wise words, and I think you're more on the track of things, more than I was.
It's fine, Barnaby. I don't think it's wise words, I just read a lot. And,
Nerd.
I'd literally just take my hand and close Bill's muzzle with my hand. And then squeeze and then let go because she might have something to add. I think what's going on is that someone's putting pressure on Hakim, and I'm starting to understand some things, and I think the alcohol's helping me think, which is really weird.
Well,
Yeah,
either way, we're not going to help you with that rebellion by the sounds of it.
No, but we will make sure that your town and your people get what's best for them. I saw the number of coin offered, and I would like to state that that never mattered. It was always about helping people. It's always about helping people.
The money's nice, though.
He just pats Bill's head.
I would prefer something more useful, but that to gain things more useful in strange circumstances I'm in.
So, after hearing your gentle words, the angry miner, Alan, just rubs his eyes, the dirt from his eyes, takes a deep breath, and he seems to trust you, especially since you made him a promise that the children would come first. Rebecca's father, who has been silent so far, gives you a look and then looks back at Alan, who's right beside him, and he says, even though Alan here thinks that Hakim is personally enriching himself at the expense of the lives of children, I do not completely agree, and I'm glad to hear that we could all be more reasonable. And then looks at Alan again, gives him an apologetic look, and then says, like some of Alan's friends, they have a different vision for the freehold. A freer vision, they said. A place where everyone could be free from these stifling rules and regulations, but can't help but think that it's gonna come with its own problems. I will trust you on your promise that you will keep our children safe. Keep Rebecca, keep Ash, and perhaps, you might be a gift to us yet. To all of us, and perhaps we might yet have peace. Thank you for coming to help us.
Of course, it's what anyone should do. We all bleed together after all.
Okay. And then the miner, Alan's father, actually takes out from his backpack a very dirty looking teddy bear and gives it to you and says, could you please give this to my son when you find him?
He just nods. Bill, would you mind working your magic? And he sets the bear down next to Bill.
She looks at it, looks back at you, mildly confused.
Clean.
She casts precipitation.
Make a spotless bear. It's the cleanest it's ever been. God,
It is. It looks absolutely more new than when it started out with.
Make sure to give it to your child. I'll make sure that if they are still with us, that they will make it back safely. And I will do everything in my power to make sure that your child gets what it needs. Or die trying.
I don't think that would be necessary.
It might be the alcohol talking.
Probably. Though, if they are unwilling to release of a hostage, I would be more than happy to put myself as the hostage to ensure the children go free. And he just smiles warmly at the other two and gives Veritas a knowing smile of, you know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm about.
Yeah, Veritas just shakes his head. Is like, if it comes to it, sure. Like, I'd like a peaceful revolution, but I'm not fucking completely. I am not some doe-eyed child. Yep, just nods.
Rebecca's father actually says in a shaken voice, it would not sit well with us if to save our children another must give their life. I would not, I would not have you go so far.
Just
And then, yeah, Alan actually looks like I would definitely have you go that far, but yeah.
no, just as a father myself, I understand how both of you feel, but I would be worse off if I had lost mine. So I feel for both of you. And I will do everything I can. I promise.
Okay. So, do you guys have anything more to say, or this is how you send them away? With a promise?
Barnaby has nothing else to say.
Right?
So-
Yeah. So before he goes, Alan does tell you guys if any proof is to be found, it's probably in the Midra cache. If there is something wrong, and you please bring it to us and to Nat Hakim. That's what he says, but and then they will leave. And we will end the scene with here. And tomorrow morning, you guys will meet the blacksmith who's the widow, and then you're going to go down to the mines and into the Underdark. Everyone okay?
Oh yeah.
All right. Session end.
Alright, then I'll stop the recording.